You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2164 2164 Chapter 475 Big Hairy Ball and Xing Hong 3. In Nanyuan City, Lord Xia was playing with a voice transmission talisman with a solemn expression. After a long while, he said, "The Heaven Hunting Pavilion has accepted a mission to kill me and the people from the Multidivine Literature Department. The price is very high. The Heaven Hunting Pavilion has accepted the mission and is prepared to contact various parties to carry out a probing attack on Nanyuan." Hong Tan frowned and said, "Can we join forces?" "Yes." Lord Xia nodded, "Of course. The 10,000 races did not want us to succeed. In fact, they hoped that the human race would never be able to find the invincible traitor and that we would always be in chaos. Do you think they would be willing to be this saber? Moreover, there is also the Polytheistic Literature Department, which is also where they are afraid of. So, if nothing goes wrong, these people will soon come to an agreement." Chen Yong, who had just arrived, said in a deep voice, "Master Ho, is the information accurate?" "Of course." Master Xia Ho smiled. 100% accurate. Chen Yong nodded and didn't ask any more questions. He thought to himself that the spies of the Xia family seemed to have infiltrated the Heaven Hunting Pavilion. They had received news of such a level of mission. It seemed that their status wasn't low. Moreover, Master Xia Ho didn't suspect anything. It seemed that their identity was very important, and the Xia family also trusted them. Lord Xiaoho looked at Hong Tan. Hong Tan smiled and did not say anything. If Chen Yong did not know, then it was good that he did not know. Hong Tan did not think about Su Yu anymore. "This news was definitely sent by Su Yu," he said solemnly. "There are many quasi-invincible experts outside. Once they join forces, even if we join forces with the Daming Manor and the Great Qin Manor, we will not be able to defend against them. Right now, the sun and moon have arrived in the various manors. However, the top-tier experts have all gone to the heavenly battlefield. Even if they didn't go, they might not be willing to help us. Those experts who were about to reach the Tao had all left. The human realm was very empty right now. There was nothing they could do. Compared to the people from the Xia family, more than 10 experts wanted to reach the Tao. This was also a big matter. The Xia family also attracted the attention of all the clans. This was a good thing. To the Great Qin King and the others, sometimes, they had to make some trade-offs. Hong Tan said, he sighed and said, "Actually, the War God Hall, the Quest Realm, and the manors all have quite a lot of sun and moon. Together, they have close to 40 people. In addition to the 40 people from our 3 manors, if they really join forces, it's not impossible to fight them. After all, they were at the human realm." At this moment, a large number of sun and moon had gathered. There were still quite a number of human sun and moon. However, there were some people who could not be counted on. For example, Yuan Qingdong's group, or the scattered suns and moons from the various manors. Who could you count on? If the 10,000 races could join forces, the human race might not even be able to join forces. Lord Xia Ho did not really care about this. He smiled and said, "It's fine. They can't deal with quasi-invincible either. This time, including the Heaven Hunting Pavilion, there are a total of 14 quasi-invincible. I don't know if there are any others. Among these 14, not all of them might attack us. The immortal race is more or less a little apprehensive. The immemorial giant race might not even attack. The 5 elements race might also not. The number of people who might attack us is only around 10. In other words." Hong Tan's teeth hurt. "How dare you say that?" At the side, manager Hu said softly, "Lord Marquis, do you think any of these 10 people have obtained the future bodies of invincible combat power?" Lord Xiaoho smiled and said, "I don't think so. If there really were, these people would be in the top 10 on the Tao manifestation board. The future bodies of invincible combat power were not so easy to obtain. Many people would only obtain a future body at this moment. In an instant, this was also the reason why some quasi-invincible people, even if they obtained 2-3 generation bodies, would only have average combat strength. Obtaining a past body at the moment of passing and a future body at the next moment was equivalent to 3 suns and moons merging into one. Such quasi-invincible people were also very strong, but compared to those quasi-invincibility that took the invincible combat power of the future bodies, it was not just a little bit inferior. Such quasi-invincibility, even if they were about to merge into one, they could still be killed by the genius of the 8th and 9th suns and moons. And the quasi-invincibility that took the invincible combat power of the future body, even if it was only a 3-generation body. No one could be a match for the suns and moons. General Zhao said in a deep voice, even so, 10 of them. We can't be a match for them at all. Our goal is to lure out the traitor invincible, not to fight them. Otherwise, even if we kill some of them, we will not be satisfied with our deaths. Everyone had come here prepared to die. However, the prerequisite was that the traitor invincible had appeared. Not now. It was not worth it to fight with the 10,000 races and destroy the great Xia manor. At least, it was not worth it now. The 10 quasi-undefeatable warriors had defeated the Xia family for countless days and months. Lord Xia Ho sighed, if there's no other way, we can only use our trump cards. Then let's fight. Lord Ho, who exactly are we confident in dealing with that undefeatable warrior? Manager Hu and the others were very curious. Who was it? There was one more thing that they did not mention. Xianjiu had killed Xia Sinin, saved Qin Yong and the others. Now, they did not dare to mention Xianjiu's matter, afraid that it would cause a rift between the two sides. Also, outsiders said that the Xia family had the confidence to deal with invincible. Where was this confidence? Lord Xia Ho smiled faintly and said, don't be anxious. We will know when the time comes. Let's wait a little longer. When the 10,000 clans join forces and Lu Wenyan breaks through, we hope that this fellow can really reach the 9th level of the Sun-Moon realm. In this way, once the war starts, he might be able to hold off a quasi-invincible. The group of people didn't say anything else. They all had expressions that said that they were unafraid of death. After this time, perhaps, the great Xia manor would be gone. Lord Xia was clearly prepared to fight to the end. This battle might also be the final battle of the great Xia manor. As for the great Xia emperor and the others, who knew how much trouble Xia Long would face after attaining the Tao? Once the number of experts attracted here was sufficient, the Tao cultivation might begin. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2165 2165 Chapter 475 Big Hairy Ball and Xing Hong 4. Someone from the Heaven Hunting Pavilion. Is that Xianjiu? How dare he come to our side? When Xianjiu led the 3 sun and moon experts into the territory of the Celestials, some of the Celestials' experts and geniuses glared at him angrily. This guy had led the Heaven Hunting Pavilion's experts to kill them before. Divine Lord Wushuang. Su Yu laughed heartily. Xianjiu from the Heaven Hunting Pavilion has come to pay a visit. Please meet him. On the celestial side, Zhan Wushuang walked out from an Earth soldier-level hall. His eyes were calm, without the indignation and anger of the other celestial races. In the heavenly battlefield, it was not uncommon for comrades to fight each other. On the Heaven Hunting Pavilion side, they had previously surrounded and killed the gods and demons. It was not uncommon for them to join forces with the gods and demons. Xianjiu had come to look for him. Zhan Wushuang thought about the purpose of his visit and asked calmly, "What's the matter?" Su Yu smiled and said, "Something's the matter." Zhan Wushuang pondered for a moment and said, "Come in and talk." Okay. Su Yu smiled. There were some things that he had to talk to these geniuses about. As for quasi-invincible, he could not see it and his status was not high enough. In the main hall, Su Yu did not exchange pleasantries and went straight to the point. We have accepted the mission to kill Lord Xia and Lu Wenyan. We hope that we can join forces. Our heaven-hunting pavilion has dispatched 2 law enforcement elders. Zhan Wushuang was not surprised. He gestured for Su Yu to sit down and sat down himself. Soon, someone served tea. Zhan Wushuang sipped his tea. He said indifferently, "Cooperation is a good thing. This matter should be done in cooperation. However, we lack a leader. If the heaven-hunting pavilion is willing to take the lead, it will also be an opportunity for cooperation." Everyone understood the logic. It would depend on the division of labor, the contribution, and the distribution of rewards. As well as the problem of how to deal with the Xia family if they really have invincible combat power. Su Yu nodded. Zhan Wushuang had clearly explained these concerns in one sentence. How to divide the benefits and how to shoulder the danger, this was the difficulty of cooperation. Su Yu smiled and said, "How about this, let's talk first. Call over Maudwa and the others. Call over the geniuses from the quasi-invincible forces to have a talk. Let's talk about the general situation first. Everyone can more or less represent everyone's quasi-invincible intentions. If the gap is not too big, then the matter of cooperation will be more or less settled." Zhan Wushuang smiled lightly and said, "Sure. But, Brother Xianjiu, do you mind taking off your mask?" Su Yu smiled and said, "It's not convenient, right? My heaven-hunting pavilion is the common enemy of all races. Everyone is eager to kill us. It's still all right now. If my identity is really exposed, I'm afraid that I won't be able to live for long." Zhan Wushuang smiled. He looked at the death aura that was spreading from his body and sighed in his heart. If not exposed, with your current situation, if you don't return to the ancient city, you won't be able to suppress the heaven yuan qi anymore. You won't be able to live for long. He was too lazy to say anything else. He stood up and said, "Then I'll inform the others. We can talk together and come to a general agreement. Cooperation is inevitable. After all, this is the human realm. We're just outsiders. Then I'll wait for your good news." Su Yu did not go out. He continued to wait silently. In the main hall, he and the 3 people in black armor did not say anything. They waited silently for the others to arrive. At the same time, a stone statue was wandering the heavenly battlefield. It did not go to the East Rift Valley, nor did it go to the passage of the human camp. After going around in circles, Xing Hong was a little curious about the current world. Sometimes, he would stop and think about it. It seemed like he was really touring the mountains and rivers. As for the East Rift Valley, he did not go there. He felt danger. There were too many unrivaled experts gathered there. The human experts wanted to reach the Tao. Almost all of the unrivaled experts of the human race appeared. The 10,000 races also gathered from all directions. This was probably the largest number of Tao protectors in history. Not only the human race, there were also people from the 10,000 races who wanted to reach the Tao. Some of the small world lords also wanted to take this opportunity to reach the Tao. This time, it might change the situation of the 10,000 worlds. Xia Longwu reaching the Tao was an opportunity to blow everything up. The stone statue couldn't be bothered with that. He wanted to beat them up. He only wanted to take Su Yu away. That fellow was crazily absorbing the death qi. This wasn't appropriate. If he absorbed too much, what would happen if he really opened the undead passageway in the human realm? That was his city lord. He might have to take the blame. He had not been to the human realm for a very, very long time. It was so long ago that his memories were about to disappear. However, it was not a big problem to look for Su Yu. As the city lord, he could find that fellow wherever he went. The prerequisite was to find a safe place to enter the human realm. Those few inherent passageways could not be taken, for fear of being seen by others. Human realm passageway. The stone sculpture took a large turn and followed its past memories to wander around the eastern war zone for a long time. Soon, it appeared on a huge mountain peak. When it reached the place, Xing Hong muttered, "Heavenly King Ridge, is this it?" There were some changes. He was not sure if this was the Heavenly King Ridge from back then. Back then, the yuan qi in this place was very dense. It was frighteningly dense. Furthermore, there was a small path here back then that could lead to the human realm. He did not know if there was one now. And this small path had some origins. When he thought of this, Xing Hong looked around. His voice reverberated as it sounded at a special frequency. "Is Demigod Emperor Devouring God here?" "That's right." The God-devouring realm seemed to be nearby. He did not know the exact location. However, the origin of the small path leading to the human realm near the Heavenly King Ridge had something to do with Demigod Emperor Devouring God. Of course, the prerequisite was that this person was really the one from back then. It was said that Demigod Emperor Devouring God and his old friend had secretly opened this small path. The reason was simple. The two troublesome fellows didn't want to take a detour every time, so they secretly opened a path. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2166. 2166 Chapter 475 Harry Ball and Xing Hong 5. Not many people knew about it, but it was discovered later. It was said that that person had been reprimanded for this matter. Some memories that were about to be forgotten slowly appeared in his mind. At this moment, in the ancient God-devouring realm, on a huge heaven origin fruit tree, Harry Ball opened his eyes with difficulty. A voice sounded in his ear, "Is the God-devouring half-emperor here?" Big Harry Ball opened his eyes and yawned. He fell into deep thought. Am I dreaming? Recently, I've been dreaming a lot. While he was deep in thought, the voice sounded again. Is the demigod devourer here? Big Harry Ball was somewhat awake. He looked at the sky. A moment later, he saw through the void. He saw a lump of stone. It looked somewhat familiar. Big Harry Ball looked at it for a while before he floated up and flew into the sky. A moment later, he walked out of the realm. No, he floated out of the realm. Xing Hong shouted a few times, but there was no response. Forget it, he was about to find his own path when suddenly, he was shocked. Turning his head, he saw two huge eyes staring right at him. Their eyes met. Xing Hong quickly retreated. After taking a good look at his face, he heaved a sigh of relief. Greetings, half-emperor. As he spoke, he took a look, but he couldn't tell if it was the half-emperor from back then. They looked almost the same. If they weren't from the same race and were stronger than him, how could he tell? What's your rock number? Big Harry Ball was a little uncertain. He couldn't recognize it either. They were all similar rocks. What was this number again? Xing Hong. Oh, OH. Big Harry Ball looked at him and yawned. He said slowly, "Why are you calling me?" Half-emperor, there's a passage to the human realm, right? Yes. Then. Before he could finish, Big Harry Ball seemed to have thought of something and muttered, "Have I seen you before?" Xing Hong was speechless. Not long ago, Half-Emperor looked back in time and met me. Oh. That wasn't a dream. Big Harry Ball thought of something. I thought I was dreaming. No wonder I kept dreaming about Big Rock. Speechless. Big Harry Ball looked at him again. Why did you come out? I went to the human realm to do something. As he said that, he explained, it's that human who is the descendant of the half-emperor. He is now the city lord of our city and has a strong aura of death. I'm worried that he has opened the undead channel in the human realm. That would be troublesome. Oh. Big Hairy Ball was a little slow-witted. After listening to him, he responded a few times. After a while, he said, he's a half-undead now. Yes. Big Hairy Ball thought for a moment and muttered, half-undead, who converted him? Star Moon. Who's Star Moon? Big Hairy Ball was puzzled. He didn't recognize her. The half-emperor met her last time too. She was there when we went back in time. Oh, that undead sovereign. Big Hairy Ball remembered and shook his body, but he didn't say anything. After a while, he said, then you go. Human realm. Don't go for too long. It'll easily open the undead channel. Did you transfer the death aura to that human guy? Yes. Xing Hong nodded. Big Hairy Ball thought for a while and said, tell him not to stay in the human realm for too long. It'll be very troublesome if he really opens the human realm channel. At this point, he yawned and said, what's going on over there? What are so many eternity doing over there? Fighting. Xing Hong's answer was simple. He knew where this person was talking about, over at the East Rift Valley. Fighting? How boring. A bunch of boring guys. Big Hairy Ball yawned again. I'm a little hungry. Have I not eaten for a long time? If I remember correctly, a few hundred years ago, Sir should have eaten a meal. Is that so? Big Hairy Ball forgot and was a little confused. After a while, he mumbled, did I? How come I don't remember? I haven't eaten for many years. I'm starving, a few hundred years ago. Strange, how come I don't remember? Xing Hong was speechless. Your memory. Sir, you forgot that several hundred years ago, a human and a god clan fought for eternity. Sir ate that god clan's eternal sea of will. No. Big Hairy Ball said strangely, I don't eat the sea of will. I only eat the divine literature. Could it be, that little guy's mama went to eat it? Did she go out? While speaking, Big Hairy Ball tore the space behind him and looked at the ancient devouring god realm. After a while, he yawned and said, yeah, she went out. I didn't know that. Xing Hong was stunned. It wasn't you. Your wife went out to eat. What the f***ck? Your wife casually ate an eternity. He also peeked at the ancient god-devouring realm and saw the enormous heaven origin fruit tree. He was speechless. This thing was still there. It had been so many years. Even if it was cut down, it could be used to make a divine weapon. He was looking at it when Big Hairy Ball turned around and looked at him. He asked curiously, why are you looking at my house? Xing Hong was speechless. I didn't look at it. I just glanced at it. Big Hairy Ball didn't see his wife, so he didn't mind. He muttered, where did she go? She didn't go to the immortal, did she? I just said that the divine writing of that person is very fragrant. Did she go to eat it secretly? Xing Hong couldn't help but say, she went to the immortal to eat the half-emperor of heavenly ancient. Your family has a big appetite. Big Hairy Ball shook his body and said uncertainly, I don't know. Heavenly Ancient is still alive. He has lived for a long time. The divine runes must be very fragrant. When he was flying, I felt that his divine runes were very fragrant. I want to eat. Damn, it really was the same one from back then. Xing Hong was sure now. The half-emperor of heavenly ancient times was still flying, but you had already set your eyes on him. He didn't run away. He was the half-emperor from back then. You even said that he could live, and you could live even more. It was fine if he could live, but he was still so old and had given birth to a little devouring god crown prince. He was really good. Big Hairy Ball ignored him and said strangely, "Young man, mommy has lost him. Should I go and look for him? The heavenly ancient divine text smells so good. I want to eat it." Xing Hong was a little strange and urged, "Go, Lord Half-Emperor. If you don't go, he will die, and the divine text won't smell good anymore." It made sense. Big Hairy Ball nodded. No, he nodded. It made sense. Should I go and take a look? Otherwise, if Tian Gu died, the divine runes would become stale. Then I'll go and take a look. You have to take care of our young man. Okay. Sir, open the human realm passage and let me in. I'll bring your young man back. The big hairy ball disappeared, but a narrow passage was opened. Xing Hong looked at it and then looked at the fluctuation in the void. He was speechless. Did he go to eat the heavenly ancient? Did I do something bad to lure this guy to the immortal clan? The immortal clan wouldn't want a big mess, right? Forget it. Who cares? What does it have to do with me? Xing Hong didn't care anymore. It had nothing to do with me. The devouring god clan wanted to eat it, not me. That old ghost, Tian Gu, had lived until now. It wasn't easy for him to be eaten by this couple. Speaking of which, there were only 3 members of the devouring god clan. It seemed like the clan was going to be exterminated. Xing Hong didn't think about it anymore. He entered the passage. Human realm, I'm coming. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2167. 2167 Chapter 476 War broke out. LRB please subscribe. 1. Human realm. Southern origin. Su Yu waited for a while. Geniuses walked in one after another. Some even had the sun and moon to protect their path. However, those who sat down were all geniuses. The sun and moon experts did not enter. There were not many people. Including Su Yu, there were only 13. Immortal, demon, god, dragon, nether, 5 elements, immemorial giant, heavenly spirit ape, heavenly abyss. There was only one quasi-invincible person from each race. However, there were 2 from the heaven hunting pavilion this time. They were all top-notch geniuses from each race. On the demon race's side, there was no doubt that it was Modwa Na. On the immortal race's side, it was not Xian Wuji, but Dao Cheng. They could be considered old friends. On the 5 elements race's side, the floating earth spirit was a must. The cursed soul of the heavenly abyss race, Long Yingyue of the dragon race, Mingyu of the nether race, and Gu Zhu of the immemorial giant race. They were all experts on the heaven roll. More than half of the 18 names on the heaven roll had come this time. Being on the heaven roll meant that they had quite a high status in the clan. Most of these people were from the mountains and seas, and a small number were from Lingyun. However, Su Yu felt that every single one of them was very powerful. In fact, they were not weaker than some of the sun and moon. The moment they arrived, the cursed soul of the heavenly abyss clan, who was wearing a black robe that covered his entire body, smiled faintly and said, "So it's Taoist brother Xianjiu. I've long heard of your great name. I've finally met you." Following his words, Su Yu's sea of consciousness slightly trembled. The Calamity Divine script jumped for a moment, and a wisp of black aura faintly appeared in his sea of consciousness. However, it disappeared in an instant. Little Hairy Ball yawned and casually ate it. After eating it, it even spat out a mouthful. It was somewhat disgusted, as if it had eaten something dirty. Disgusting. The cursing soul slightly trembled. At this moment, with a loud bang, a fist smashed out. The cursed soul retreated dozens of steps, and Su Yu was stunned. It wasn't even sent flying. Although it wasn't using its full strength, this cursed soul was only at the third level of the mountain and sea realm. I actually didn't manage to send him flying. At least I used the strength of nearly 100,000 apertures, right? Enough. Madhwa said indifferently, cursed soul, don't show off your useless cursed killing technique if there's nothing else. The cursed soul that was sent flying by Su Yu's punch wasn't angry, and it didn't seem to be injured. He smiled coldly and said, let's play. Don't be angry. Everyone says that Xianjiu is young. If not for the death aura, he would have been on the heaven hunting list long ago. Let's play with Xianjiu. Su Yu said calmly, if you want to play, there are plenty of chances. You can say that after you reach the 9th level of the mountain and sea realm. Now. It's not enough. I will. Cursed soul smiled faintly and said, that's true. Now is the time to get down to business. Actually, there's nothing to talk about. The other races are not a big problem. What about the immortal race, the immemorial giant race, the 5 elements race, and the ape race? If it doesn't work, then retreat. It's that simple. Once these words were said, the floating earth spirit smiled and said, listen and see. If the plan works, it's not like we can't give it a try, right? As he spoke, he looked at Su Yu and said with a smile, Senior Xianjiu, what do you think? Su Yu said indifferently, this time, 14 quasi-unrivaled experts. If the immortal race can't make a move, then retreat. Otherwise, the human race will say that we're allies and have no choice but to participate in the battle. It's troublesome. The other races, including my heaven-hunting pavilion, have 13 quasi-undefeatable warriors. Wouldn't it be easy to defeat Nan Yuan? On the side of the Xia family of the southern Yuan, the strongest is only Xia Shower, who is at the 8th level of the Sun Moon. Even if he comes from the Xia family, even if he has a sharp heaven-splitting blade, one quasi-undefeatable warrior can easily suppress him. On the side of the southern Yuan, only Lord Xia seemed to be more powerful. As for the Zhu family and the Qin family, Zhu Tiandao is, after all, an undefeatable son of the first wife. At the 9th level of the Sun Moon, it would be best to have one quasi-undefeatable warrior suppress him. Qin Hao, the second son of the great Qin king, is quasi-undefeatable. Su Yu said indifferently, 3 quasi-invincible, enough to suppress these top-tier sun and moon. As for the others, what was there to be afraid of? These people were waiting for the trump card of the Xia family, which might be the southern borderless land. 10 quasi-invincible, how could they fight with the other party? Once the southern borderless land appeared, that betrayer of the human race would have no scruples. Perhaps, he would personally come out and kill the southern borderless land. His words were simple. Zhang Wushuang frowned and said, it's not that simple. The Southland. They all say that the original cult master is the Southland. But don't you think that the Southland's trump card has been exposed too quickly? Even if the original cult master is the Southland, the Xia family has already revealed their trump card before the plan has even begun. The news came from Lan Tian. Can Lan Tian's words be trusted? Then, he looked at Madhwa Na, you subdued Lan Tian, and the original had cooperated with our God clan for many years. The possibility that the original is from the southern borderless territory. I don't think it's too big. When the southern borderless territory died in battle, the original had already appeared, and it was a little earlier. Could it be that he had prepared this identity at that time? Madonna asked, you didn't know the true identity of the primitive, so you cooperated with him? Yes. Zhang Wushuang explained, but you also know that this is the human realm after all. We have the sun and moon to contact him and have personally come to see him, but, it doesn't mean that we can really see through him. When the primitive cooperated with us, he was only at the first stage of the sun and moon realm. Now, 100 years have passed, and he has stepped into the stage of quasi-invincibility. His talent is extremely monstrous. If it's the southern borderless, then it means that he was mistaken back then, and he has been hiding. After saying that, Zhan Wushuang asked, "Is there a problem with Lan Tian?" "Him?" Maudwa Na said calmly, "It's hard to say. We can only say that we are cooperating with Lan Tian. Back then, Lan Tian was captured in the heavenly battlefield. However, we didn't kill him. He said that he wanted to create a human realm where all the races could peacefully coexist. The one who came into contact with him was Wisdom Demon King. Wisdom Demon King has his own plans. I'm not sure about the specifics, so it's hard to tell whether what Lan Tian said is true or not." You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2168. 2168 Chapter 476 War broke out, LRB subscribe, 2. Suyu interrupted, "Is that so? Just guard against it." In short, if they were to cooperate, it would not be difficult to deal with the Xia family. In fact, everyone's main concern was that the Xia family might have the combat strength to deal with Invincible. If that was really the case, then retreat. More than 10 quasi-invincible people would not even have the chance to retreat. After saying that, he said, "Even the heavenly abyss god and devil know the identity of that traitor Invincible, right? This really won't do. Just let him take action." Cursing Hun said with a faint smile, "Who knows who he is? That person had cooperated with our clan's Invincible back then, but it doesn't mean that we know who he is. Brother Xianjiu, why do you need to inquire about this? If we knew, we would have said it long ago." He. Suyu didn't comment. Even if he knew, he wouldn't say it. Suyu also didn't say much. He said again, "If you want to make a move, then it's settled. Our 8th elder will deal with Xia Shower, the 3rd elder and the other quasi-invincible will wait for the Xia clan to make a move. The Zhu clan will be handed over to the God clan, and the Qin clan will be handed over to the Demon clan. The two of you, the War God Hall and the Seeker Realm just need to be on guard a little." There wasn't much of a plan to crush the combat power. There wasn't much of a plan either. The main thing was the Xia clan's method of fighting against the Invincible experts. It was that simple. At this moment, on the Dragon clan's side, Long Yingyue said indifferently, "Then if we defeat the Xia clan and the Xia clan is unable to resist, how are we going to divide the remains?" Suyu said calmly, "We'll rely on our own abilities. Is there even a need to ask? Everyone, if you get the tombstones, you can sell them to our heaven hunting pavilion. The price is easy to negotiate." Mo Duo and the others nodded. Very quickly, Mo Duo asked, "Dao Cheng, do you want to participate?" Dao Cheng was silent for a moment before he said, "Let's wait and see." Zhan Wushuang said coldly, "If that's the case, if you don't participate, then later on, we will seize the ruins. Everyone, attack together." "Yes." Everyone nodded. They did not want to give anything. If they wanted to take advantage, it would naturally be difficult. Order those small clans to surround and kill the rest of the human race. Yes. When exactly will they act? Let the quasi-undefeatable races come personally to discuss this. All right. The group quickly reached an agreement. Suyu was the leader. As for the rest, these geniuses didn't need to listen to him, nor would they listen to him. Everyone was just a formality. A group of people talking about cooperation. In reality, all the quasi-undefeatable races had their own plans. After the discussion, Suyu was about to leave. Dao Cheng, who had not said much, suddenly said, "Brother Xianjiu, let's go together." Suyu turned his head, his heart slightly focused. What was going on? "You recognized me?" "Impossible." Suyu remained calm. "All right." The others watched them leave. Zhan Wushuang waited for them to leave and suddenly said, "Dao Cheng, did you discover something? Rumors have it that Xianjiu was related to Suyu, or even one person. Could it be?" He looked at the others. Did you guys sense anything? Geniuses had the most obvious sense towards geniuses. Maudwa said indifferently, we did sense something, but it wasn't too strong. It's true that Xianjiu is a genius. As for whether it's Su Yu, everyone can go to the ancient city of Starfield and try again. Try my A*S. The few of them ignored him. If they tried, they would be courting death. Although the ancient city of Grand Star had been quiet for the past 2 days, if they continued to provoke him, they might completely anger Su Yu. If they really tried, their deaths would be in vain. Floating Earth Spirit, you've interacted with Su Yu a few times. Do you think Xianjiu is like Su Yu? In the crowd, the Floating Earth Spirit that was about to leave through the ground laughed, this. It's hard to say. It's true that Su Yu is good at disguising himself. Back then, when he pretended to be Tendo, I almost didn't recognize him. But this Xianjiu is very powerful. He's at the 3rd level of the sun and moon. Su Yu, can he really improve so quickly? He was a bit suspicious, but he was also a bit uncertain. As for Su Yu's outburst in the ancient city, to be honest, in the eyes of the Floating Earth Spirit, it wasn't a big deal. If Su Yu really disguised himself, it wouldn't be a big deal. It was just that the stone sculpture was a bit unusual. Whether he is Su Yu or not, it doesn't matter, does it? Curse Hun smiled faintly and said, if he isn't, don't mind him. If he is in the human realm, not the ancient city. Even if he is at the 3rd level of the sun and moon realm, so what? There are many invincible people in this place. Was it really that important? Everyone laughed and quickly dispersed. Outside the door, Dao Qing followed Su Yu. Su Yu was puzzled. What was this guy trying to do? Dao Qing walked for a while and suddenly said, are you Su Yu? Su Yu said indifferently, if you think it's true, then it's true. If it's not true, then it's not true. Dao Qing, is it true? Is it useful if I say it? Dao Qing smiled lightly and said, that's true, but I still want to say a few words. This time, the Xia family's plan will be very difficult to succeed. There are too many restrictions. They want to lure out the invincible one who betrayed you. It won't be that simple, and it won't be that easy either. Even if Lu Wenyan really reaches the 9th level of the Sun-Moon, if I don't come out, can the Xia family really find out his identity? What does Dao Qing mean? Dao Qing looked at him, he smiled. Actually, the one who has the most hope to lure out that person is still Su Yu. Su Yu is the true genius. I don't believe that he will be corroded to death by the aura of death. He is living a comfortable life in the ancient city and has the ancient stone statue protecting him. Actually, he is the one who is the most dangerous, the one who can pose the greatest threat to that invincible traitor. Su Yu nodded. That's right. Dao Qing said with a faint smile, therefore, if the Xia family's plan succeeds and that fellow is lured out, it won't be Lu Wenyan and the others. I think it will still be Su Yu. It's too difficult to kill Su Yu in the heavenly battlefield. He has the ancient city to rely on. Even Demon King Lad and the others were destroyed by that stone sculpture. The invincible human race is no exception. Only by killing Su Yu in the human realm can we eliminate the future trouble. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2169. 2169 Chapter 476 War broke out, LRB please subscribe, 3. Su Yu nodded again. You're thinking the same as me. As expected, we're all smart people. It's a pity that you've done something stupid. This is the first time you're picking on me, and I've beaten up your fiancé. What a pity. Su Yu said calmly, you're telling me this because you think I'm Su Yu, and then you want me to expose my identity to lure out that invincible. Dao Qing smiled faintly and said, I don't mean that. Brother Xianjiu has misunderstood, but I'm saying that if Brother Dao is really Suyu, then that would be terrifying. Suyu at the third level of the sun and moon, white mask of the heaven hunting pavilion, and even an elder. The city lord of the ancient city. When these identities are combined together, if Suyu doesn't die, once the identity of this person is really discovered one day, Lu Wenyan and the others won't be able to do anything to that person. But Suyu, he has the support of the non-human race's ancient invincible. He's not afraid of anything. Dao Qing smiled and said, if Lu Wenyan and the others can't become invincible, the human race's invincible might not stand up for them. However, Suyu doesn't need to. He just needs to build a good relationship with those stone sculptures. Once the 36 stone sculptures come out, he can forcefully destroy that person. Lu Wenyan doesn't have the conditions to kill invincible. Suyu does. Suyu turned his head to look at him and said with a faint smile, however, Suyu has exposed his identity, and that invincible wants to kill him. Dao Cheng, you really have a good plan. However, I also know about the enmity between you and Suyu. Don't you plan to kill him yourself? Dao Cheng sighed. It's difficult, too difficult. That's why I hope that Dao brother is Suyu. If that's the case, perhaps Invincible won't be able to kill Dao brother either. Dao Qing smiled. Whether it was true or not, it didn't matter. Even if it was possible, these words might allow Suyu to really reveal his identity. An invincible was coming to kill him, and it was an invincible who hit himself extremely deeply to kill him. Suyu was here, and he didn't have the ancient city to rely on. Suyu smiled and said, "All right, these words are a little interesting, don't say it, but when you say it like that, I actually have some ideas. How about this, Brother Dao Cheng has a mission. Ask the Heaven Hunting Pavilion's people to go outside the city and shout it out. Pass these words to Suyu, and maybe he really will come." Dao Cheng looked at him deeply and smiled. "All right. Xianjiu, Suyu." He thought to himself. Whether it was true or not, as long as these words reached Suyu's ears, it would be fine. Suyu's threat was greater than Lu Wenyan's. Anyone with a discerning eye would know. Even if Lu Wenyan had reached the 9th level of the Sun-Moon realm and was not invincible, he did not have the ability to kill invincible. Only Suyu had it. Or rather, in the entire human realm, other than those who were invincible, only Suyu was not invincible. If the son of the Great Qin King asked the Great Qin King to kill an invincible person, would the Great Qin King do it? No. Suyu could. Those ancient stone sculptures did not care who they killed. Many humans had also died in the ancient city. When the undead massacred the city, the stone sculptures had not treated humans well. From another perspective, Dao Qing felt that if he was invincible, at least he would not be afraid of Lu Wenyan and the others. However, he had to be careful that Suyu would find out his identity and personally bring the stone sculptures to kill him. Therefore, if he could kill Suyu outside of the ancient city, it was still worth a try. Dao Qing left. Beside him, Xian Jia transmitted his voice. Did he find out? It's not necessary. I was just testing him. Suyu sighed. An outstanding person really couldn't be hidden. I tried so hard to hide it. The stone statue acted as a disguise. I personally took off my mask, I used the power of the 3rd level of the sun and moon, I used my innate skill, and I killed Xiaosini. There were so many tricks up my sleeve, but in the end, there were still people who doubted me. He could only say that he was too outstanding. When these outstanding people saw how outstanding he was, they thought that among the heavens, perhaps only Suyu could do it. As expected, geniuses were all lonely. Suyu silently sighed for a while. The next day, the situation became more and more tense, and everyone felt pressure. Early in the morning, signs of the sun and moon advancing appeared in Nanyuan City. It seemed to be the aura of Qinyong. As expected, Chen Yong had already stepped into the ninth layer of the mountain and sea realm, and this time, he was moving toward the sun and moon. Lu Wenyan didn't seem to have any signs of advancing. In the air, numerous quasi-invincible experts appeared. Don't wait anymore. If Lu Wenyan really succeeds, it won't be a good thing. There's no need to wait. Why don't we start now? The experts started to transmit their voices. There was no point in waiting. If they waited any longer, there really would be no need for Lu Wenyan to advance. On the other side, Zhu Tiandao and the people from the Great Qin Manor had gathered together. At this moment, Zhu Tiandao's expression was solemn. He can't help but want to make a move. Qin Hao, can the three of us, second brothers, do it this time? Qin Hao was slightly stunned. He quickly understood and was speechless. What did he mean by 3 second brothers? All right, he, Lord Xia Ho, and Zhu Tiandao were indeed the second brothers of each family. Qin Hao also took a deep breath. He looked at the void and said solemnly, there are too many. It's difficult. I feel that the three of us might die. As he said, he smiled and said, so be it. If we die, it won't be so easy for these people to leave the human realm. Then, he asked, where is the Darming King? Over in the endless void. Zhu Tiandao shook his head. Don't count on it. I can't count on it. The Darming King couldn't leave. If he did, it would be very easy for people to break into the human realm. He was invincible, and his real body would enter directly. Then, he said, with my father, the 8 invincible figures are defending in the endless void. Therefore, they can also block those who break in. If they can block the invincible, it would be difficult to intervene in the territory. Zhu Tiandao took a deep breath and exhaled. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2170. 2170 Chapter 476 War broke out, LRB please subscribe, 4. It was a little solemn. 14 quasi-invincible experts. He felt it. These people did not release any pressure, but their existence caused the void to freeze. At this moment, there were no ordinary people. Otherwise, they would not be able to breathe at all and would suffocate to death. Qin Hao shook his long spear and glanced at the group of people in the distant periphery. He smiled and very soon. He shook his head and said, I can't count on these guys anymore. Sigh, if it was 400 years ago, these humans would not sit idly by. These years, the invincible ones have placed too much importance on the heavenly battlefield. They have neglected the human realm and the change in the hearts of the people. After a few hundred years, the old generation has died in battle. Most of the new generation have forgotten some things. I hope, we can wake them up and use our blood. Zhu Tiandao said calmly, use your blood. I have no interest in using my blood to wake these people up. As he was speaking, a few old men flew over from afar. Some were at the Seeker realm, and some were from the War God Hall. They were all very old. Some of these people had white hair, some had withered faces, and some had helpless expressions. The Seeker realm Elder Wang was among them. These people flew over directly. The leader was an old woman whose teeth had fallen out. She coughed a few times and said with a smile, Little Zhu, Little Qin, is this a big battle? The old woman glanced at the sky and said with a smile, we're old. There are some things that we can't talk about. We've been in closed-door cultivation for many years. There are some things that we can't interfere with and can't interfere with. Count us in. Zhu Tiandao glanced at this group of people, and behind him, Hu Qi also revealed a smile. Elder sister, you're still alive. The old woman looked at Hu Qi and smiled. Barely alive, I've let you see a joke. Hu Qi revealed a smile, I knew it. I knew that we still had days to fight together. It was that shameless Niu Bai Dao who went to verify the Dao. Elder sister, do you think that the heavens have no eyes? This shameless old fellow also has a day to seek enlightenment. The old woman smiled, don't talk about him like that. When he was young, his talent was astonishing. It was just that his luck wasn't good. The great Ming King, that fake scholar, couldn't even read a few words, and he actually inherited the civilization master ruins. Otherwise, that invincible expert would have been Niu Bai Dao. Back then, the two of them were just too far apart. Zhu Tiandao was helpless. The two of them were old, so it was fine for them to talk about such gossip, but could they avoid me? That was my father. My Zhu clan, a cultured person. A civilized master. The two of them exchanged a few words, and those old men quickly blended in as well. In this place, there were more than 80 sun and moon experts in the human realm, including the Xia clan. At this time, there were almost 20 sun and moon experts in the city, which was the accumulation of the Xia clan. Outside the city, Zhu Tiandao's side also had more than 30 sun and moon experts, and more than 50 sun and moon experts. There were still 20 to 30 sun and moon realm warriors who didn't move. They were still watching from the outside. Zhu Tiandao didn't care. It was up to him whether they came or not. It was much better than expected. At this moment, there were also sun and moon realm warriors gathered around. Su Yu was still not completely seized of power. He chose not to enter the city. However, he was attacking the Zhu and Qin families from the outside. The team that belonged to him before still belonged to him. At this moment, he brought a group of suns and moons towards the gathering place of the two clans. A great battle was about to break out at any moment. Within the city. On the city walls, the suns and moons of the Xia clan had all arrived. There were several small worlds guarding them, as well as various generals in Xia Yunqi and the other newly promoted suns and moons. There were more than 20 suns and moons in the Xia clan. Lord Xia Ho's gaze was focused ahead, and his expression was cold. The sun and moon experts by his side were bursting with energy. They were facing more than 100 sun and moon experts. There were more than 100 sun and moon experts from the 10,000 clans. At this moment, the sun and moon experts were gathering their strength and waiting to be sent out. Hong Tan was also among them. At this moment, he had a smile on his face as he said softly, Lord Xia, it seems like the Xia family hasn't fought such a big battle for many years, right? N. Marquis Xia said indifferently, when the Xia family opened their manor, they fought. However, at that time, it was mainly my father who participated. After that, they did not have such a big battle. As he said that, he smiled and said, needless to say, Longwu has fought many big battles more than me. I have never seen such a big scene before. This is also the first time. After laughing for a while, Marquis Xia suddenly shouted, the 10,000 clans are in my human realm, in my great Xia Manor's territory. Are they preparing to attack my great Xia Manor by force? Retreat quickly. Lord Xiaoho shouted, and the sun and moon behind him also shouted, retreat. Their voices shook the clouds. A moment later, a transparent barrier rose up, and the divine talisman masters in the city began to use all their strength to maintain the newly built array formation. The array formation was not too strong, but it could still hold out for a while. The beast tamers summoned their mounts and waited in the city. They were waiting for the time to break the city and charge out of the southern Yuan. The warriors held their sabers and waited. The civilized masters displayed their skills. The mountains and seas and the Lingyun realm warriors were all waiting. They were waiting for the battle. They were weak, but at the crucial moment, they could form a formation to kill the mountains and seas and the sun and moon. The great Xia family was not afraid of battle. The Xia family had fought for hundreds of years. Xia Longwu had led an army to fight in the heavens in the past few decades. He had trained his courage and killing intent. At the very most, he would die. His aura was like a rainbow. He clashed with the auras of the experts outside the city. Outside the city, quasi-undefeatable experts also erupted with auras. They released their auras and suppressed Nan Yuan. The quasi-undefeatable experts of the celestial race appeared outside of Nan Yuan. They looked at Nan Yuan and said calmly, "Xia family, hand over a few people from the Divine Literature Department and we will drop this matter. Otherwise, the Xia family's many years of heritage will be destroyed in an instant. This is not what we want either." You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2171. 2171 Chapter 476 War broke out. LRB please subscribe. 5. Lord Xia Ho looked at him and smiled. What the F***ck are you talking about? The Celestials were almost invincible and were not angry at all. They had long passed this stage. Calmly, he said, the peace of all races and the concerted efforts of all races to create a prosperous era for all races. This is the wish of all races. The addition of the divine language was the biggest obstacle in this. The human race has been peaceful for hundreds of years, and great wars are rare. Only Yi Badian achieved his Tao and suffered heavy casualties. Now that this day has come, does the Xia family want to give up the great Xia mansion that they have been running for hundreds of years just for these people? Killing people to kill the heart and attacking the city to attack the heart. The divine race expert said again, your Xia family is willing to die for them. Ask them, do these soldiers under your command have no resentment in their hearts? Are they willing to die for Hong Tan and the others? All of this could have been avoided. We are willing. The experts behind Lord Xia roared angrily. Killing intent surged into the sky. Lord Xia Ho smiled. Clumsy methods. No, I'm telling the truth. The celestial expert said indifferently, perhaps they say they are willing, but don't forget that they still have their families and family members. The Xia family has been destroyed, and many lives have been lost. There are billions of people in the Great Xia Mansion, and they may have to leave their homes and go to other dangerous places to earn a living. The Great Xia Mansion has no one to protect them, and soon, great demons will grow and devour the people. The people will starve to death, and millions of corpses will float. Is this what your Xia clan wants to see? Hundreds of millions of people can't compare to Hong Tan and the others. As long as we hand them over, we won't kill them. We just need them to go to various worlds as guests. Our clans will treat them with respect and wait for them to grow old. The God Clan expert chuckled and said, this is also the promise of our clans. We won't kill them. It was just imprisonment. Of course, the various races didn't mind giving them better treatment. For example, living in a large house, giving you good food and drinks, and being ordered around by your servants were all trivial matters. They just had to let these people die as time passed. It would be fine as long as they weren't allowed to cultivate, and they wouldn't be allowed to continue their inheritance. This kind of treatment plan could also reduce the resentment of the human race. Lord Xiaoho sighed. What a nice way to put it. He couldn't let this fellow continue. On the celestial side, they still had a way to bewitch people's hearts. Experts could actually do it. It was just that sometimes they weren't willing. There was no need for that. If he continued, it wouldn't be a good thing to shake the morale. Then I'll invite your entire family to my Xia family as guests. With a sneer, a saber chi pierced through the world. Lord Xiaoho angrily shouted, if you want to fight, then let's fight. Whine. Saber chi swept through heaven and earth. Stubborn fool. The celestial expert snorted coldly and struck out with his palm, covering heaven and earth. At the same time, the other experts all attacked. The great battle had erupted. Suyu had just turned his head to look when his eyes were about to explode. At this moment, a black-robed expert suddenly appeared in the air. With a cold laugh, a streak of black light flickered in his hand, and in the blink of an eye, the defensive array formation of South Origin City was shattered. Within the city, countless people let out miserable cries. One divine talisman master after another instantly turned into corpse water. The Heaven Abyss clan's killing curse technique completely shattered the formation with a single strike, and the civilized masters who had set up the formation died one after another. Bang! Suyu didn't have time to think too much. At this moment, dozens of suns and moons swiftly gathered around him. It wasn't just the Heaven Hunting Pavilion, but also the other clans. They swiftly charged towards the Zhu and Qin clans. A great battle broke out. In an instant, the experts from the three great clans of the human race were at a disadvantage. Zhu Tiandao and the others didn't care about this. They broke through the air and charged into the sky. Lord Xia and the others were the same. One by one, the suns and moons charged into the sky and fought against those quasi-invincible experts. Boom! In the blink of an eye, General Zhao, who had just charged into the sky, was punched by someone until he spat out blood and fell down. Soon, General Zhao roared and charged into the sky again. One after another, the sun and moon soared into the sky. Below, the 10,000 clans were surrounding and killing the human sun and moon. Without the help of these sun and moon experts, they were instantly at a disadvantage. Suyu gritted his teeth. Is he still not coming? Is Manor Head One not going to make a move? The difference was too great. If this continued, people would die soon. If Manor Head One still didn't come, how would they fight? Of the 14 quasi-invincible experts, 6 or 7 hadn't made a move yet. They were all watching from the side. The ancient giant clans Gu Shan and the others were all watching. Once they also made a move, the three great clans wouldn't be able to stop these experts. Suppression. They were completely suppressed. Suyu gritted his teeth. If he couldn't do it, he would explode right now and kill every single one of them. Don't be anxious. At this moment, the black armor beside him suddenly transmitted, "Don't be anxious, wait a bit longer." Elder. Suyu's heart moved slightly, and the black armor quickly said, "These people are still testing the waters. They're worried that the Xia family will suddenly send out reinforcements. Wait a bit longer. Once the fierce battle continues, they'll fall into a slaughter, and they won't be able to escape even if they want to." Suyu's heart froze. Then there will be people who will die in battle. The mystic armor was silent for a moment before he said again, "This is war." It was that simple. Suyu actually did not want people to die. This was something that the mystic armor could not say. This was impossible. In order to drag these people into the quagmire, people would definitely die in war. Suyu was powerless, but he did not say anything else. This was war. War had broken out. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2172. 2172 Chapter 477, Black Armor, Original 1. Boom! A loud sound rang out as the battle erupted too quickly. There were too many experts participating in the battle and the void was blasted apart. In the blink of an eye, the surroundings of the Southern Origin had turned into a black hole. Martial Dragon Divine Might, who else could it be but me? During the battle, a group of 1,000-man guards roared out in unison. Kill! Strike! 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 Blade Chi covered heaven and earth, a sun and moon was surrounded by thousands of guards, Lingyun thousands of guards captain, led by the soldiers, constantly roar to the sky. Strike, strike. Boom. The sun and the moon are boundless, a palm to go, dozens of people exploded, a foot swept out, the void exploded, and dozens of people exploded. Ling Yun died in battle. Soaring in the air, Gao Zhong continued to roar, attack, attack. Rumble. Ants. The sun and moon were incomparably cold. What could a group of ants do to me? In the blink of an eye, more than half of the soldiers were killed. And these people were incomparably crazy. They still swarmed forward and attacked. The Xia family's blade. Xia blade, the number one in the world. With a local sound, a blade slashed down. One soared into the air, and a blade slashed onto the opponent's arm. The huge recoil caused the soaring soldier to turn into dust and explode instantly. However, the remaining people continued to charge forward and kill. The Xia family's dragon martial guards were the number one in the world. The Xia family's saber was invincible. 1 slash, 2 slashes. That sun and moon didn't care at all. With just this dragon martial guards, how could they kill a sun and moon expert like him? What a joke. No matter how strong an ant was, they were still ants. However, it was still a little troublesome to kill over 1,000 dragon martial guards. After all, they were a group of soaring cloud. One slash after another, countless Xia sabers landed on their bodies. Killing intent and blood qi covered the entire area. As the last person held his blade and killed, a furious roar resounded through the heavens and earth. Great Xia's blade is the sharpest. Boom! A loud sound reverberated in all directions. The sun and moon that had been surrounded and killed suddenly had blood qi boiling on their arms. With a boom, their arms exploded. At this moment, a dark guard sun and moon commander appeared in the air like a ghost. He instantly charged forward and slashed out with his blade. His eyes were filled with tears. The dragon martial guards only wanted to exhaust him, injure him, and make the last slash of the shadow guard commander easier, and less exhausting. The blood qi of 1,000 people pierced through his body, exploding one of the sun and moon's arms. Was it worth it? At this moment, the last soldier who died in battle fell to the ground with a smile. It was worth it. The blade of Great Xia was the fiercest. The number one blade in 10,000 worlds. Boom! As the blade slashed down, the injured sun and moon's expression changed drastically. However, due to the explosion of his arm, he did not have the time to attack. With a loud bang, he was cut into 2 halves by the blade. His sea of will was sliced into pieces. This was a slash filled with anger, killing intent, and the aura of death. Boom! The sun and moon's physical body exploded, and his sea of will collapsed. With a single slash, he was killed by the Dark Guard commander on the spot. The crescent moon fell. This scene did not just happen here. It was the same in the other places. Corpses littered the ground. One after another, the dragon martial guards paid with their lives to lay down everything for the sun-moon experts. They did not care about anything else as they slashed out with their blades. They slashed out with their blades. In the air, the quasi-invincible experts could not help but look down. The blades of the Xia family. Great Xia's blade. The Xia blade was truly sharp. Thousands of dragon martial guards had died in battle, and the dragon martial guards numbered less than 10,000. However, these people still chose to fight in the battlefield of the sun and moon. They used their blood and their lives to prepare the final blade for those generals. Hong Long Long. In an instant, more than 3 sun and moon soldiers were killed. The Xia family's blade is the sharpest. In mid-air, Lord Xia Ho let out an explosive roar. His aura exploded with madness. Hong! An earth-shattering boom rang out. Lord Xia Ho's hair was disheveled, and with the long blade in his hand, his plump body instantly became thin. I'll give you the Xia blade you want. Split open the sky. An incomparably wild roar shook the entire area. The quasi-invincible opponent he was fighting had been suppressing him all along, causing him to continuously vomit blood. However, at this moment, his expression changed. Lord Xiao's saber was unbelievably powerful. Whing! This saber strike had truly split open the sky. The void was split open, and the world was covered in darkness. No, a bright light was born from the darkness. It was Saber Chi. 9th level Sun Moon. Someone called out in a low voice. Lord Xiao, 9th level Sun Moon, had been brewing for a long time. After being suppressed for a long time, he finally used his full power saber strike. The one fighting with him was none other than the quasi-invincible Celestial. He frowned and shouted. In the void, he wasn't the only one who appeared. There were two of them. They were both him, one of the three incarnations. The two of them instantly fused together and punched out. A loud bang rang out. It was like a collision of metal. Flesh and blood flew everywhere. This was the quasi-invincible Celestial's flesh and blood. This punch caused the quasi-invincible Celestial's expression to change. Something was wrong. At this moment, Lord Xiao tore through space. Yes, the next Lord Xiao appeared behind him. He also had a saber. The trump card of the Xia family that you want is here. Kill! A low shout like thunder shook the eardrums of countless people in all directions, causing them to bleed. Puchi! The saber slashed down, and the face of the quasi-invincible god changed drastically. In just a blink of an eye, he had torn a river of time as thin as a cow's hair. It seemed like time was going back to that moment. However, it was useless. With a buzzing sound, the saber light flashed and cut him into pieces. The river of time was also cut off. In just a blink of an eye, a quasi-invincible god with blood dripping from the corner of his mouth appeared not far away. No, his aura kept sliding down. In just a short while, he had reached the 9th level of the Sun Moon realm. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2173. 2173 Chapter 477, Black Armor, Primal 2. A pile of minced meat appeared beneath Lord Xiao's feet. Now, he had been killed. He had escaped in an instant. At this moment, the expression of the quasi-invincible Celestial changed. Lord Xiao was quasi-invincible. In the void, the two Lord Xiao instantly fused together and raised their sabers to slash again. At this moment, a human figure appeared and struck out with a boom. It was the 8th Elder of the Heaven Hunting Pavilion. At the same time, another quasi-invincible appeared behind him. It was a golden armored ape. Lord Xiao. I didn't expect this. The 8th Elder sighed. He really didn't expect this. The Xia family actually had a quasi-invincible hidden in them. This quasi-invincible of the celestial race was almost killed by him. Although he wasn't killed, his body was now cut into pieces. In the past, he only had the strength of the 9th level of the Sun Moon realm. If the quasi-invincible was a little less, Lord Xiao could have killed him directly. Lord Xiao was extremely cold. Is the Xia blade you want sharp enough? The quasi-invincible of the ape race and the 8th Elder were killed. The quasi-invincible of the celestial race, whose body had been cut off, took a step back with a gloomy face. Originally, he had decided that the 8th Elder would make the first move, but in the end, he thought that Xia Shower could kill him at will. In the end, he was extremely unlucky and was killed by Xia Shower's blade. He almost died. At this moment, the three quasi-invincibility experts joined forces to kill Master Xia Ho. Master Xia Ho snorted and said nothing more. The void was instantly turned into nothingness and darkness. Xia Shower is actually a quasi-invincibility expert. The Xia clan has hidden themselves so deeply. At this moment, in a large hall thousands of miles away from this place, a figure sighed. Quasi-invincible. Not counting Xiaolongu, Xia Shaoer was also a quasi-invincible. In just over 50 years, Xia Shaoer had reached the level of quasi-invincible. This guy's talent was not much worse than Xiaolongu's. Is that all? The figure murmured. Is that all? A quasi-invincible Xia Shaoer took the past body, not the future body. Is that all? Was this the capital the Xia family had to deal with him? He didn't believe it. It couldn't just be like this. A quasi-invincible was very strong, but if this was all he had, then he would be underestimating himself. He would be underestimating his invincibility. Not only that, the Xia family still has a backup plan. The figure muttered. Xia Shaoer was quasi-invincible. It was indeed out of his expectations, but this was definitely not enough. The difference was too great. If he had obtained a powerful future body, it would still be fine, but this was only the past body. Just as the figure was thinking about this, his eyes moved. At the same time, in Nanyuan, a figure suddenly appeared in the void, as if he had suddenly appeared here. As soon as this person appeared, without saying anything, he struck his hammer toward the celestial whose body had been cut off. No. The celestial expert turned pale with fright. How could he suddenly appear? Even if he was quasi-invincible, he couldn't appear in front of him in an instant. However, he didn't feel any movement. Boom! He didn't have time to think. He smashed down with his hammer. With a loud boom, his body was cut off. In the past, his body wasn't as good as his current body. With a boom, his body was smashed into pieces. His sea of will was not shattered yet. Just as he wanted to escape, the void was sealed and instantly compressed. With a bang, his sea of will exploded. The person who came had the demeanor of a human immortal. His white hair fluttered in the wind. Niu Bendao. Countless people were shocked. Niu Bendao, wasn't he in the heavenly battlefield? At this moment, Niu Bendao did not care about that. He scooped up the object that was left behind after his body exploded. With his actions, the setting sun crashed and the first quasi-invincible expert was killed just like that. Not far away, Hu Xianqing roared, F***CK. It's broken. His dimensional portal was broken. Yes, at that moment, he was the one who had teleported Niu Bidao from far away. The price was that the dimensional portal that he had asked Su Yu to compensate for was completely broken. Old Niu, compensate one item and settle the score. Hu Xianqing roared. His eyes were red with envy. Vessel. Niu Bidao looked back at him, but he didn't say a word. It was obvious that he wanted to eat a fart. I killed him. As for your teleportation gate, Su Yu had already compensated for it. Now, it could be considered to be a waste. At this moment, Hu Xianqing's teleportation gate had completely exploded. He casually threw it at an early-stage Sun-Moon Realm expert, the space shattered, and the Sun-Moon Realm expert was destroyed in an instant. It shattered into pieces. When Hu Xianqing saw that almost everyone on the battlefield was looking at him, he was shocked. Don't look at me. Old Niu killed him, it has nothing to do with me. What are you looking at? I've only just entered the Sun-Moon realm. He's also a multi-godlike character. Someone shouted coldly, and in the next moment, a Sun-Moon realm expert charged toward him. F***CK. Hu Xianqing instantly fled. In the instant he fled, countless beauties, fine wine, and an invincible immortal-like figure appeared where he was in the blink of an eye. It was an illusion. At the start of the battle, because Lord Xiaohe had concealed his strength, Niu Bendao had suddenly returned. The two of them had joined forces and actually killed that quasi-invincible of the divine race. This time, the quasi-invincible spectators were all shocked. Without saying anything else, 3 quasi-invincible experts descended. Of the 14 quasi-invincible experts, 1 had actually died. Of the remaining 13, the immortal race, the immemorial giant race, and the 5 elements race didn't move. Of the other 10, 2 surrounded and killed Lord Xiahou, while the other 3 surrounded and killed Niu Bendao. Of the remaining 5, Zhu Tiandao and Qin Hao each blocked one person. General Hu and General Zhao worked together to block one person, while the Xia family's 5 small world guardians and the 2 quasi-invincible experts fought. They were suppressed everywhere. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2174. 2174 Chapter 477, Black Armor, Original 3. In the void, the remaining 3 quasi-undefeatable figures looked at each other in surprise and shock. This was just the beginning, and one of them had already been killed. They did not sense Niu Bendao's return either. It had a lot to do with Hu Xianqing's teleportation portal, so they were instantly teleported over. In the distance, Zhu Tiandao laughed and said, "Xia Shower, the first quasi-undefeatable figure that our Daming Manor killed, we killed him." Lord Xiahou was about to retort when an explosion sounded. Below, a Dark Guard commander was instantly killed. A devil god at the 7th level of the Sun Moon coldly looked around. This wasn't the first. At this moment, Xia Yinqi, Hong Tan, and the others were also engaged in a bloody battle. The void shook. Chen Yong had already advanced to the Sun Moon realm and was charging out of the city at lightning speed. He didn't even have time to stabilize his realm. Niu Bendao had only just shown off for a moment when he was beaten up by the 3 quasi-invincible experts until he spat out blood. He no longer had the demeanor of an immortal. Dozens of human sun and moon experts were surrounded and killed by experts from various races, causing heavy casualties. On the other side, Su Yu was still rejoicing over Niu Bendao's appearance. In the next moment, his joy turned into depression. Black Armored Elder. Su Yu saw that Hong Tan and the others were being killed and sent flying back. Wu Yuehua, who was only at the peak of the mountain and sea realm, had already broken her physical body and her poison cauldron. She couldn't hold it in any longer. Should he wait? If he waited any longer, the people he was familiar with would die. Su Yu was saddened by the death of a stranger, but he wasn't as anxious as he had imagined. However, everyone there was familiar, and someone was about to die. The black-armored man acted like an expert as he patrolled the area. When he heard Su Yu's words, he transmitted his voice, "It's almost time. Don't be anxious. Listen to me. There are still people hiding. Don't be anxious. If you're too anxious, all your trump cards have been revealed. You don't even have a chance to turn the tables." But Su Yu didn't say anything else. He gritted his teeth and sent a sun and moon from the Daming Manor flying with a punch. Around them, 7 to 8 suns and moons missed their target. They all looked at Su Yu. Su Yu snorted coldly, "You want to snatch my spoils of war?" The 7 to 8 suns and moons scattered in a huff. There was no need to fight Xianjiu. There were people everywhere now, and killing them would be the spoils of war. Puchi. Among the 7 or 8 suns and moons that had just left, one of the demonic gods was cut open by an old man with a sword. The old man panted heavily as he looked at Su Yu, his eyes bloodshot. Elder Wang, who was in the quest realm, was seriously injured. He had just killed a sun and moon with his heavily injured body. At this moment, he was already at the end of his rope. "Little bastard, in the past, your grandfather killed powerful enemies in the heavens." The old man roared furiously as he recalled the glorious days of the past. However, he was already old and severely injured. Killing an early-stage Sun-Moon realm expert had exhausted all of his strength. Su Yu looked at him coldly. He could tell that the other party was powerless. Without saying anything, he punched out. Boom! When the old man struck out with his sword, his long sword was instantly shattered. Divine runes exploded, and with a bang, his physical body exploded. A sphere was slightly cracked, and Suyu reached out and grabbed it into his hand. He said coldly, "The Sea of Will of the 7th level of the Sun-Moon realm. I seem to be rich." The other experts who were about to attack also cursed in secret. F***ck. Xianjiu had taken advantage of him again. The 7th level of the Sun-Moon realm was not bad, but this old man was obviously going to die. Now, Xianjiu had actually taken advantage of him. Under normal circumstances, where would the 3rd level of the Sun-Moon realm kill the 7th level of the Sun-Moon realm? Suyu looked around coldly and did not say anything. He casually stuffed the ball into his pocket. In the distance, Xianjia took a look and did not say anything. The battle erupted too quickly. In the blink of an eye, the sun and moon were falling. However, there was still a pure land in the entire southern Yuan. Outside. At this moment, there were dozens of sun and moon realm cultivators gathered outside. Some were in the search realm, some were from the war god hall, and some were from the various manors. When they saw the countless dragon martial guards of the Xia family die in battle, the sun and moon experts of the human race die one after another, and Elder Wang was killed by Xianjiu with a single punch. The sun and moon experts were silent for a moment before flying out. The blade of the Xia family is the sharpest. The fist of the Han family is the strongest. A sun and moon expert roared and punched out, sending a sun and moon expert flying. He was extremely crazy, and in the blink of an eye, he had killed a sun and moon expert. He had also been heavily injured. As he watched the 3 sun and moon experts surround him and kill him, he felt that he was about to create the record of being the fastest to appear and the shortest to be killed. At this moment, someone behind him laughed and said, "The warriors of the Great Han Palace are trash. The Great Jin Palace has an invincible body." Bang! The newly arrived sun and moon expert instantly started to fight with the 3 sun and moon experts. The sun and moon experts outside watched as 6 sun and moon experts flew out in an instant. In the blink of an eye, they were surrounded by the other sun and moon experts, and their blood splattered everywhere. One by one, the sun and moon realm experts watched. Some were at a loss, some sighed, some frowned, and some didn't think much of it. Zhang Qi was still watching. He just watched without making a sound. In the surroundings, Yuan Qingdong and the others were also watching. Yuan Qingdong had looked at Zhang Qi several times, and he had looked at his father who had just arrived. What should he do now? However, these people didn't make a sound. In the crowd, someone saw that a sun-moon who had just rushed out was killed on the spot in the blink of an eye. He muttered, "Why rush out to die? If we don't go out, we won't die." They were already at the sun-moon. Couldn't they see this situation? If they rushed out, they might die. As he said this, the person who said this felt like crying. He was the sun-moon and had just advanced not long ago. He had participated in battles before, but he had not participated in many battles. The sun-moon had not had a big battle for many years. He wants to cry, he is a little scared. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2175. 2175 Chapter 477 Black Armor, Primitive 4. He cursed that person as a fool. The next moment, his scalp went numb. Suddenly, with a furious roar, he rushed out of this safe place. That idiot who died in battle. That was his master. Yes, his master. What an idiot. How could he kill his way to the 4th level of the sun and moon? You're only at the 3rd level of the sun and moon. Aren't you courting death? What an idiot. He was filled with fear, anger, and unwillingness. At this moment, he still charged out. His master was an idiot, and so was his disciple. Otherwise, how could they be considered to be of the same lineage? Reinforcements from the Great Wu Mansion. At this moment, another person charged into the battlefield and roared, "My king has died in battle. My mansion master is in charge of the Great Wu Mansion. The other Sun and Moon generals have all come to help. The Xia Wu family will not rest until they die in battle." Rumble. The battle erupted once again, and the Great Wu Manor did their best. The Great Wu King had already died in battle, and there were very few Sun and Moon experts in this manor. On this day, apart from the manor head who was in charge of the Great Wu Manor, all 8 Sun and Moon experts in the manor came to help. The sounds of battle shook the heavens. Great Qin, Great Ming, Great Shang, Great Han, Great Tang, Great Wu, Great Jin, Great Song. At this moment, experts from various manors continuously joined the battle. Some were filled with lofty sentiments, while others were cursing. What kind of battle was this? Was peace in the myriad realms not good? Wouldn't it be fine if the Xia family handed over those fellows? What the hell? How great would it be if they handed over Hong Tan and the others? Some were cursing and swearing, and soon, they charged into the battle circle and stood in front of Hong Tan and the others. They stood in front of a few people who were severely injured. They cursed, "It's fine if all of you from the Divine Literature Department died, but it's so troublesome." While he was cursing, he instantly started fighting with those powerful enemies. He cursed, "Get lost, why are you in the way? Are you courting death? You want to activate the restrictions of the human race, do you understand? If you don't activate the restrictions, you'll let this old man down. Hong Tan, you guys are really F***king good-for-nothings, and so is your master. This old man has wanted to scold him for a long time. F***ck, if you don't have the confidence, why are you trying to attain the Tao? F***ck this old man. With a roar, madness, unwillingness, the burly man cursed crazily. He cursed the 5th generation, Hong Tan, and the many divine languages department. With a boom, the man slashed apart a Sun and Moon. However, he was also smashed into powder by the other Sun and Moon. He was still cursing before he died. He was too useless. How could he be so useless? More and more humans were participating in the battle. However, there were still too few of them with peak combat strength. Those who were truly at the peak had all gone to the heavenly battlefield. At this moment, a white light covered the entire southern Yuan, covering an area of tens of kilometers away from the southern Yuan. A figure slowly walked out. "Since you're all here, then don't leave." A person walked out from the darkness and easily killed a Sun-Moon expert. He looked in all directions, toward Lord Xia Ho, toward Niu Baidao, toward Hong Tan, and the others. He sighed, "I'm late. There are a few pieces of trash outside. I took care of them." Primitive. Southern borderless. In the air, those quasi-invincible experts were all on high alert. Another quasi-invincible expert, the primitive sect leader. No, perhaps it should be called Southern borderless. The primitive sect leader, whose face had always been illusory, chuckled, "Are you waiting for them?" As he spoke, 3 balls appeared in his hands. He sighed, "We can't wait any longer." Rumble. He crushed these balls and in an instant, 3 extremely powerful crescent moons crashed down in the sky. The surroundings shook. Lord Xia Ho was also beaten until he spat out blood. However, he could not help but roar crazily, "Damn, you! What's the situation with you? 3 quasi-unrivaled experts." The primitive religious master smiled. Even though he could not see his face, he could feel that he was smiling. "Formidable, right?" As the original cult master spoke, he lightly coughed, but some blood dripped from the corner of his mouth. He smiled and said, "Formidable, not formidable, 3 quasi-undefeatable, you guys have killed for half a day, but not as many as me. Cough cough cough, kill more." He coughed. At this moment, the demon quasi-undefeatable roared, "Immortal race, 5 elements race, immemorial giant race, you guys want to watch a show? He's injured. Everyone was shocked. What a powerful quasi-invincible, killing 3 quasi-invincible, primordial sect leader. However, the other party was injured. It was very heavy. Everyone could see it. The primordial sect leader smiled, even if I'm injured, killing you guys, will be easy. Originally, I wanted to wait for that guy, but you guys insisted on being the vanguard. Everyone knew what he meant. He was waiting for that betraying invincible. To be able to kill 3 powerful quasi-invincible, this fellow must have obtained his future body, or even his past and future. He was just a step away from attaining the Tao. No wonder the great Xia mansion dared to set up this trap to kill invincible. Lord Xia, Niu Bendao, and the original cult master were all quasi-invincible experts. With the 3 of them working together, even if they weren't invincible, they could still fight for a while and draw out the other party's true body. Everyone was shocked. The original cult master really was from the human race. They thought that it was just a rumor, but they didn't expect it to be true. The 3rd generation had returned. The moment they attacked, 3 quasi-invincible experts were killed. The fellows hidden in the outer area might want to pick up some scraps. However, the appearance of the original cult master didn't change anything. The 3 quasi-unrivaled experts of the immortal race, the 5 elements race, and the immemorial giant race looked at each other. This time, they didn't watch from the side. The 3 of them landed at the same time. Regardless of whether they were neutral or not, it was common sense to kill the many divine characters. This point was the same except for the human race. At this moment, Suyu slightly let out a sigh of relief. Truly. He thought that the original cult master might not be a good person. Perhaps he was just in existence to divert everyone's attention. However, the other party had arrived long ago and killed 3 quasi-unrivaled experts in the dark. There was no doubt about this. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2176. 2176 Chapter 477 Black Armor, Original 5. The southern borderless region had arrived. The 3rd generation had arrived. As expected, they were incredibly powerful and had killed 3 quasi-unrivaled experts. However, they seemed to have sustained heavy injuries. At the same time that the battle between the human realm experts broke out. On the heavenly battlefield. The great Qin King stood at the peak of the eastern Rift Valley and looked into the distance. After a long while, he said, "Everyone, wait for a moment. Once 3 eternal clones appear on the human realm side, they will attempt to attain the Tao. At the very least, the human realm had to attract the attention of 3 or more invincible experts. All of this was for the 10 or so people behind them to successfully attain the Tao." The great Qin King turned around and looked at everyone. He said coldly, "Remember, everyone. Remember today, remember those people at the human realm who are fighting. They have fought for a chance for you. At this moment, at least 5 or more eternal enemies have infiltrated the human realm. The change in the Great Xia Palace had lured away at least 5 eternal realm experts. At least. This reduced the number of invincible realm experts who would come to kill them. This was an opportunity. The great Qin King turned around and looked into the distance. He repeated, "Once 3 or more eternal realm experts show up, they will demonstrate their Tao. Remember." "Yes, my king." Behind him, the invincible realm experts and quasi-invincible realm experts replied. Some were silent, while others lowered their heads. Xia Longgu, who was standing beside the great Xia King, was also silent. The Xia family's plan also seemed to be to protect him. With 1 less unrivaled expert blocking him, his chances would be higher. The great Qin King felt that the Xia family would be able to lure out 3 unrivaled experts. Xia Longwu believed that they would, but, if they really appeared, would they be able to block them? He didn't know. Xia Longwu remained silent, but his aura gradually became stronger. It shook the void, and some of the quasi-unrivaled experts around him felt immense pressure. They all looked over. Xia Longwu ignored them. He lowered his head and didn't look at anyone. He wanted to attain Tao, and if he succeeded, he would do so even if he didn't succeed. Boom! The battle continued. The sun and moon continued to fall. At the same time, with a low shout, the entire Southern Origin shook for a moment. In Southern Origin City, a bright moon rose. In the next moment, a person's long hair fluttered as he soared into the sky from the city. Lu Wenyan. Many people cried out in a low voice. Lu Wenyan had advanced. Lu Wenyan, who had advanced, instantly became stronger. First level of the sun and moon, second level, third level. He was strong until he reached the third level. His aura wavered and did not increase any further. Many people heaved a sigh of relief. Third level of the sun-moon realm. They really thought that he could reach the ninth level of the sun-moon realm. Lu Wenyan did not say anything. In an instant, he appeared outside the city. A seventh-level sun-moon realm warrior was about to kill Chen Yong, who was seriously injured, when Lu Wenyan suddenly appeared. That seventh-level sun-moon realm warrior was first shocked, then delighted. You came to find me? Killing Lu Wenyan would give him quite a lot of rewards. Just as he was thinking about this, an axe appeared in Lu Wenyan's hand. At this moment, the axe was so powerful that it caused people to be frightened. Before the seventh-level sun-moon expert could make a move, Lu Wenyan's axe chopped down. With a PFFT sound, his body was directly split into two halves. A peak sun-moon divine text. His master's final main divine text. Lu Wenyan, who had advanced to the third level of the sun-moon realm, could already fully support this divine text. At this moment, he could fully display the strength of a peak sun-moon realm expert for a short period of time. After killing his opponent with a single axe chop, Lu Wenyan instantly flashed and appeared at Niu Baidao's side. Three quasi-invincible experts had beaten Niu Baidao until he was separated from his current body. Seeing that Niu Baidao was no match for him, Lu Wenyan finally broke through. Lu Wenyan did not say a word as he wielded his axe and hacked. And at that moment, the city shook. Something suddenly appeared in the sky above Su Yu's residence. It was a ruin with countless pavilions and pavilions. Countless amounts of heavenly yuan qi were spreading in all directions. The southern yuan, who lacked yuan qi, was instantly filled with yuan qi. The ruin shook the void as a white jade monument rumbled. It seemed to be bombarding the void and was about to fly out. It seemed to be affected by Lu Wenyan and was about to fly towards him. However, it was unable to fly through the void. Lord Xia Ho roared, "Go back, enter the ruins, and get the tombstone." He roared at Lu Wenyan and roared, "Get the tombstone. Remember, you can definitely succeed, everything we do is for the sake of the many divine inscriptions, and for the sake of the human race. Hurry up and go." He roared crazily and fought against the two quasi-invincible experts. His doppelgangers were fighting, and his body and past body were getting more and more seriously injured. The moment the one tombstone appeared, the void suddenly darkened. A figure appeared. He sighed, "The Xia family's plan was very good, but unfortunately, we were unlucky. The one tombstone appeared, so we had no choice but to come. Otherwise, you might really be able to lure out that." The person who came shook his head and sighed, feeling a little regretful. The Xia family's plan wasn't bad. Unfortunately, they were one move behind. When Tombstone had attracted too many experts. Everyone couldn't wait any longer. Your Xia family wanted to lure out that betraying invincible. Sorry, we won't give you this chance. This was an invincible three-generation body. Even though they were all three-generation bodies, they instantly suppressed everyone present. That person walked straight towards the ruins and said indifferently, "The Xia family is unlucky to be in this ruins. Don't blame me for being the first to arrive." The moment this person appeared, even the strongest primitive religious leader was suppressed by him. It was as if he was competing with the sun and moon, instantly dimming. Invincible. This was a true invincible realm expert. The person who came was a future body, and his combat strength was close to invincible. The future body of an invincible realm might not be invincible, but the other party was very strong, much stronger than those quasi-invincible realm experts. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2177. 2177 Chapter 477, Black Armor, Original 6. At this moment, Suyu couldn't help but want to roar. They only wanted to draw out that traitor Invincible. When Tombstone, damn it. He felt some regret in his heart. Should he not have put When Tombstone in? Was Lao Wan coming out? If he came out, then, that traitor Invincible would probably not show up. Also, could Lao Wan kill this Invincible 3 incarnations? Old Wan knew about When Tombstone, and he also knew that it might draw out more experts. What was his plan? At this moment, Suyu did not understand. He felt a little helpless. How about I reveal my true body? Forget it. Maybe if I reveal my true body, I can draw out that bastard. Lu Wenyan's appearance did not draw out the other party. That fellow could really endure it. In the air, that invincible third generation walked towards the ruins. It was as if there was no one there. Lord Xia Ho couldn't help but curse angrily again. Damn it, you bunch of bastards, why can't you all wait a little longer? That invincible 3 generation figure laughed disdainfully. Xia Shower, not everything will go according to your plan. You want to lure that person out, but I won't let you have your way. Human realm, that's what makes it fun, isn't it? He laughed, and at this moment, his expression suddenly changed slightly. At the same time, 8th Elder was about to forcefully kill Master Xia Ho's past body, but he paused for a moment. Someone beside him shouted, 8th Elder, don't. It was a familiar voice. 8th Elder's heart froze. Just as he was about to turn his head, a loud boom sounded, 8th Elder, don't turn your head. A faint laughter echoed in his sea of will. He wanted to reverse time and return to the past, but with a bang, the river of time was instantly broken. The world fell silent. In an instant, a broken sun shattered. Mystic armor. Yes, at this moment, many people were beyond shocked. The mystic armor floated in the air and shattered the 8th Elder with a single palm. The other quasi-invincible who had surrounded and killed Lord Xia Ho quickly fled. That invincible was also slightly stunned. You. Who are you? It was somewhat familiar. He was not the only one. Everyone was stunned. Who was this? The black armor sighed softly. Why do you need to get involved in this muddy water? I want to be the last to come out and kill that traitor, it is too regretful. You came out so early. Are you in a hurry to throw your life away? That invincible was not afraid. He glanced at him, he said indifferently, I do have some capital. The past and the future have all been obtained. Although the 3 bodies have yet to merge, they are still much stronger than ordinary quasi-invincible, perhaps. I can really fight against eternity, a person like you will not be a nobody. His aura gradually became stronger. He smiled and said, it seems that I am being used as a target. The great Xia mansion really can endure. I am very curious. Who are you? I should know you. Xian Jia smiled and said, what about you? You are already here. Let me see your true appearance. I should know you too. That's true. That person directly revealed his true appearance. Below, Zhan Wushuang was overjoyed. Divine King Tian Dang. The celestial race's quasi-invincible was being killed by someone. Zhan Wushuang felt like vomiting blood. At this moment, when he saw this godly king, he was overjoyed. This was the celestial race's godly king. Godly King Tian Dang looked at the black armor. Suddenly, he looked at the original cult master and laughed. You guys. Then, he suddenly looked at Hong Tan and the others. He could not help but laugh. You guys, the multi-divine literature faculty really can endure it. I'm very surprised, really surprised. Xia Chen's lineage has made me a little afraid. At this moment, he laughed and said, Nan Wujiang. Mystic armor. Ha ha ha. Everyone, including Su Yu, was shocked beyond words. What did he mean? Mystic armor was Nan Wujiang, then what about the original cult master? Su Yu was stunned. Mystic armor. Nan Wujiang, third generation. Holy shit. This was the third generation. He said it was my grandfather, damn it. If it was the third generation, this wasn't just grandfather's generation, according to Lu Wenyan's calculations, he would have to call him great-grandfather too. Su Yu was also stunned. Xian Jia was the third generation, then what about the primitive religious leader? Just as he was puzzled, Xian Jia smiled and said, Tian Dang, do you really have to come and throw your life away? Why do you have to do that? Nan Wujiang, your tone is as big as ever, it's not small at all. He smiled and looked at the primitive religious leader, he sighed and said, there are too many geniuses in Xia Chen's line. Primitive. No, you should be Yun Chen, Nan Wujiang's eldest disciple, Yi Beishan's senior brother, am I right? The illusion on the primordial sect leader's face disappeared, revealing his true face. He was slightly distressed as he said softly, greetings, godly king, master. Looks like we won't be able to kill that traitor. Master. The primordial sect leader, Yun Chen, Yi Beishan's eldest brother, and myriad heaven sages' teacher. The true meaning of a teacher. And at this moment, Yi Hongyan and the others quickly understood something. Yi Hongyan remembered what the primordial sect leader had said that day. He said that he wasn't the southern borderline and was entrusted by someone to save them. Who was that person? The black armor. No, the southern borderless. The true southern borderless. This lineage was indeed terrifying. At this moment, everyone had such thoughts. The third generation was really alive. Not only was he alive, he was also terrifyingly powerful. He had easily killed the eighth elder and was on par with invincible. And his disciple, the primordial sect master, Yi Batian, was also his disciple. Outsiders did not know that he had a disciple in name. He was even more terrifying. Divine King Tiandang looked at the two of them and smiled. The two of you have been playing dead for many years. I'm very curious. 100 years ago, that human of yours did not betray you, right? Why did you play dead? The black-armored man said indifferently, I wasn't prepared to play dead. It's just that, it's too difficult to attain Tao. I just wanted to sneak into the heaven-hunting pavilion to attain Tao. I never thought that I would use this identity. Yun Chen only wanted to borrow the identity of the primordial sect master to attain Tao, in the end. I disappointed everyone. At this moment. In the great hall 1,000 li away, that figure laughed and laughed loudly. So that's how it is. Southern borderless, Yun Chen, Xiaoxiao Air. At this moment, everything suddenly became clear. Everything was understood. This was what the Xia family relied on. No wonder he had so much confidence. The powerful third generation, quasi-invincible Xia Xiaoer and Yun Chen, the three great experts were working together. If he really went, perhaps even if he couldn't kill him, there wouldn't be any problems for him to tie him down. Ha ha ha, what a pity. What a pity. Your luck is too bad. When Tombstone has appeared. The figure laughed loudly. What a pity. What a pity. There's no need for me to make a move. Because when Tombstone had a large number of invincible experts sneaking in. You guys have failed. There's no need for me to make a move. There were so many experts, but that wasn't all. He didn't need to make a move at all. Of course, if the time was right, he could try to kill these people. After all, they were all hidden dangers. Big trouble. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2178. 2178 Chapter 478 A mountain is higher than a mountain. 1. Black armor was the true south boundless border. The original cult master was Yun Chen. The third generation really didn't die. This lineage was terrifyingly powerful and was almost invincible. Each and every one of them was plotting for the Tao. Only Yi Batian wanted to walk a great path, but was killed in the end. And now, this lineage came for revenge. Xian Jia appeared and killed 8th elder. On the other side, the 3rd elder, who was fighting with Zhu Tiandao, was a bit shocked, and also a bit devastated. He roared angrily, Xian Jia, you killed 8th elder. Xian Jia killed 8th elder. Xian Jia completely ignored him. At this moment, a group of heaven-hunting pavilion sun and moon suddenly spread out beside Su Yu, and all of them were terrified. The black armor belonged to the human race. Then. What about Xianzhou? The situation was completely clear. The Xia family had confidence. They had a lot of confidence. The only thing they did not expect was the appearance of the tombstone, which resulted in the appearance of many invincible experts from the 10,000 races. Without the tombstone, it was just a vessel. The invincible experts from the 10,000 races would not come. As such, although there were more than 10 quasi-invincible experts, they might not be able to do anything to the Xia family. That was because the black armor was very powerful. On the other side, godly King Tian Dang smiled, Nan Wujiang, Yun Chen. Xia Chen's lineage is really powerful. What a pity. What a pity. How many geniuses are there in this lineage? Xia Chen, Nan Wujiang, Yun Chen, Yi Batian, Lu Wenyan, Hong Tan, Chen Yong, Su Yu. Every time he mentioned a person, the hearts of the others trembled slightly. There were too many geniuses in this lineage. No. There's also Xia Longwu, Xia Shaoer. Tian Dang Shenwen laughed again. Xia Longwu is the disciple of the 10,000 heavenly saints, and Xia Shaoer was once apprenticed to Yi Batian. Of course, Yi Batian didn't take him in, but he also taught him as a disciple. Your lineage is too terrifying. There's still a reason why the myriad realms don't allow this lineage to exist. Tian Dang sighed. This lineage really shouldn't exist. It was fine if there was only one genius from each lineage, but they had produced geniuses from generation to generation, super geniuses. It had only been 300 years. Yi Batian was said to be a 5th generation, but according to the divine inscriptions, he was only the 3rd generation. When it came to Hong Tan and the others, he was only the 4th generation. Su Yu could be counted as a 5th or 6th generation. It was just a few generations. There were already many quasi-invincible people, and there was even someone who almost succeeded in attaining the Tao. This lineage was extremely terrifying. In the Xia family, the great Xia king's achievements were greater than his cousins. However, among the descendants, it was Xia Chen's lineage that was more powerful. Godly King Tian Dang chuckled, he said, Tao brother, I'm only one of the 3 incarnations in the dark. I might not be able to take down the southern borderless. Even if I don't have a tombstone, I should still attack and kill the southern borderless. Do you all want to wait for the southern borderless to attain the Tao? As soon as he said that, the void trembled as a demon god walked out. Demon King Mo. The demons were overjoyed. There were demon kings from the demon race too. Demon King Mo walked out of the void and blocked the black armor one after another. The black armor was still wearing a mask and his voice was filled with laughter. You two really think highly of me. Do you have to do this? When I attain Tao, I don't need many divine runes to attain Tao. The main divine runes have already been broken. I am only using an ordinary body to attain Tao. Why are you staring at me? The two of you should retreat so that the three incarnations don't perish. You have a big mouth. Demon King Mu said indifferently, Southern Borderless, your appearance is just courting death. If you hide in the heaven hunting pavilion, you might have a chance of survival. Black Armor sighed. The polytheistic literature department has sacrificed too much and lost too much. After my heaven-dominating disciple fell, I was wondering if I should take revenge for him or if I should completely wipe out the polytheistic literature department. Later on, I realized that I was wrong. There are still people in my department who are struggling, fighting, and working hard. Then, I shouldn't give up. He had once hesitated whether he should let the Many Divine Languages department withdraw from the public view. There was no more Great Xia Manor's Many Divine Languages department in the world. In this way, whether it was him or Yun Chen, they all had a chance to prove their Tao. No one cared whether they were many divine languages or not. But later on, he still chose to walk out. Revenge. Prove it. Take revenge on those enemies and prove to those human experts that the great Xia Manor's multi-god character's lineage was so powerful that it shocked them and made them regret it. My lineage is all peerless heaven's favorites. Developing Suyu into the heaven hunting pavilion, on one hand, was to protect Suyu, and on the other hand, it was also to find a way to solve the matter of Suyu converting the living dead. Of course, Suyu caused the heaven hunting pavilion to be in a mess, it was not in his consideration. Southern Borderless, Su Nanxing. There was one thing that Southern Borderless did not lie about. He was really from Southern Yuan. It would be a joke if his surname was Su. He really came from Southern Yuan. Southern Borderless of Southern Yuan, Southern Yuanxing. No one remembered that such an important figure had walked out of Southern Yuan. Because he had died on the surface for more than 100 years. The two invincible tribesmen smiled and said slowly, Southern Borderless, since you're here, don't leave. You don't want to implicate others, right? Let's go together, or do we force you to leave? Southern Borderless smiled. There's no need to trouble the two of you. Let's go together. With that, the river of time and space opened, and the three of them disappeared at the same time. No, soon, the three of them reappeared. However, this time, it was as if they had entered another time and space, and the three of them instantly exchanged blows. In the outside world, everyone could see them, but they could not feel any fluctuations from the exchange of blows. They were no longer in this space-time. This was the way these top-tier experts exchanged blows. In addition, they had opened up a space-time exchange. It was a shocking sight. The three great experts instantly clashed together in that unfamiliar space. They could not see each other clearly. Below, Su Yu's heart was raised. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2179. 2179 Chapter 478, A mountain is higher than a mountain too. Two undefeatable. Of course, none of them were 3-in-1, but even so, the mystic armor was not truly undefeatable. Could he deal with them? At this point in the war, the human race's situation was much more relaxed. From start to finish, 17 quasi-undefeatable. The original cult master had killed 3 people, Niu Bendao had killed 1, and Nan Wujiang had killed 1. At this moment, there were still 12 quasi-undefeatable. Although there were many of them, the human side also had a lot more quasi-undefeatable warriors. Lord Xia Ho, the original cult master, and Niu Bendao were all quasi-undefeatable. Lu Wenyan had also used the 5th-generation divine text to temporarily break through to the 9th level of the Sun-Moon realm. Zhu Tiandao had also been pestering one quasi-undefeatable warrior, and it was quite miserable. After counting, there were also 5 quasi-undefeatable warriors. However, they were all fighting with less, especially Zhu Tiandao, who was the most miserable. He had been beaten until his entire body was covered in blood, and Qin Hao was even more miserable. He had almost been beaten to death. He had used all his trump cards. However, even after he had used all his trump cards, that betraying invincible still did not appear. At this moment, Suyu did not care about the fear of those around him. He was thinking, Wan Tiansheng, was he still not going to make a move? Was he still waiting? However, the appearance of Lu Wenyan and the others also did not allow that person to appear. Would he really appear? This betraying beast was too tolerant. No, it was because the current situation was still not enough. At this moment, Suyu vaguely understood something. He somewhat understood. Why didn't that person appear? Because, the heavenly battlefield probably hadn't started the Dao verification yet. If the human race gave up on the Dao verification and unrivaled chose to kill their way back, it would be troublesome. And at this moment, someone confirmed his thoughts. Someone said faintly, "Stupid." The 3rd-generation head of the manor appeared too quickly. "Yun Chen, you fellow, you're too impatient." Someone came. A young man, no, he quickly became a young girl, and then an old man. He took a step and changed his appearance. His face kept changing. He carried a hint of helplessness and regret, he sighed. How foolish. How can you be unwilling to let others die? The more divine languages, the more sentimental they are. The Xia clan can still hold on, but how many more can die? You guys wait a little longer. When the heavenly battlefield verification begins, that fellow will appear. In the end, even his underpants were exposed. The person who came felt a little regretful. It's really too stupid. As he said that, he smiled like a flower. What a pity, what a pity. I still thought that after killing that traitor, the human race would stand up and fulfill my wish to create peace in all the worlds in the universe. What a pity. Blue sky. In the void, that quasi-invincible demon shouted, "Blue sky, you want to betray the demon race?" Lon Tian said faintly, "How is it a betrayal? I'm a human, I've always been a human. I've said it, whether I cooperate with the demon race or with anyone else, I'm doing it for the sake of the rise of the human race. I've said it from the beginning. Aren't you my followers?" Yes. In the next moment, countless followers appeared in the void. Some were fanatical, some were crazy. The rise of the human race, the peace of all worlds, and only our sacred religion. The sacred religion will exist forever. A group of crazy believers. A group of crazy incipient devil believers. No, they called themselves the sacred religion. They had never said that they were incipient devil believers. Only outsiders would call them that. They were saints. Saint Lon Tian. This was Lon Tian's self-proclaimed title. He was a saint who could understand the fire and water of all people. Lon Tian's figure kept changing as he chuckled. Saints, go and kill. Peace also requires killing. Go and kill these invading enemies. We will build our sacred land. The sacred land is where the sacred religion is located. Kill, kill, kill. A group of crazy believers started to kill in all directions. There were soaring in the sky, Ling Yun, mountains and seas, and even a few suns and moons. Of course, most of them were those thousands of tons of stones. Yes, Lon Tian had even brought these believers. These people were not afraid of death or pain. They were like moths to a flame as they attacked in all directions. Lan Tian did not care about these things and seemed to be indifferent to everything. He walked toward the void and toward the quasi-invincible that Manager Hu and the others had joined hands to kill. He smiled like a flower and said, "Manager Hu, General Zhao, the two of you are too weak. Why don't you join our sacred religion and work hard for the peace of the sacred religion?" General Hu and General Zhao panted, but their eyes were extremely solemn. Blue sky. This madman. This was a madman. Even at this moment, even if he seemed to be dealing with the 10,000 races, they still felt that this person was a madman. Blue Sky had actually gone mad a long time ago. As one of the witnesses of Blue Sky's betrayal back then, they were certain that Blue Sky had actually gone mad back then. This fellow had actually come. Lan Tian took a step forward, and his aura reached the 9th level of the sun and moon. With a tearing sound, the void tore apart, and the river of time appeared. Lan Tian said with a faint smile, "I lack something. I lack a vessel to enter the quasi-invincible state. Fellow Taoist, can you lend me this thing?" He looked at the quasi-invincible expert, who came from the dragon race. Smiling like a flower, he said, "The dragon race is so lascivious. Why don't I accompany Dragon Lord to sleep for a night? Please give me a vessel." The dragon race's almost invincible had an ugly expression on his face as he clawed out. With a bang, the blue sky was torn into pieces. However, the dragon race's expert's expression changed. Countless blue skies appeared in all directions. There were men and women, old and young. "Lord Dragon King, don't. Vile creature, come quickly and die. This dragon's life is not long. Dragon race, I'm so scared." At this moment, the sun and moon around them all felt a chill in their hearts. Countless blue skies, countless people, all of them seemed to be real blue skies. They were chatting, and each of them had different expressions and personalities. They were saying different things. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2180. 2180 Chapter 478, A Mountain is Higher Than a Mountain 3. The dragon expert felt a chill in his heart. Are you crazy? Are these all your puppets? You've killed so many experts of the 10,000 races. It wasn't fake. They were all real people, or rather, they were all killed by Lan Tian. No one knew that Lan Tian had actually killed so many people and so many experts. Every single one of those hundreds of blue skies seemed to be real. Blue skies. No one knew which one was the real blue sky. At this moment, those blue skies with different appearances. They said in unison, "How can I be a puppet? I am me, blue sky. 10,000 races combined into one. Other people's 3 lifetimes combined into one. That is not the fusion of 10,000 races. Only when 10,000 races combined into one is true fusion, is true peace. I want all races to verify the Tao, and all races are one." Once these words were said, even the other quasi-invincible experts who were fighting elsewhere were shocked. Madman. This fellow was not just talking. He was really doing this. The quasi-invincible immortal shouted, "Be careful, this fellow is crazy. Every single one of them is him." He cut open his sea of consciousness and scattered it onto these clones. These are all him. They were all blue sky. You are so bad. You are talking bad about him. A female blue sky whined coquettishly. In the next moment, more than 100 blue sky attacked. Boom! The quasi-invincible dragon was trapped in the middle. Countless blue sky attacked him from all directions. Be careful. The quasi-invincible immortal shouted, cough cough. Before he could finish his words, a divine symbol exploded from the original cult master. With a loud boom, he kept coughing up blood. The original cult master said coldly, "You dare to meddle in my business when you are fighting with me?" As he spoke, he couldn't help but look at Lan Tian. This madman, he had interacted with Lan Tian for many years, and he also felt that Lan Tian was actually crazy. However, he didn't expect this fellow to be so abnormal. Hundreds of blue skies used all sorts of methods. Among these blue skies, there were the demons, the celestials, the dragons, and the Mei clan. There was everything. At this moment, everyone was extremely shocked. Was this the Tao of the blue skies? The unity of all races? This madman might really have walked out of a different Tao. Bang! The blue sky exploded, and the blue sky hit the invincible dragon race. Manager Hu and General Zhao exchanged glances and quickly left. This madman was very terrifying. They were really afraid that this fellow would kill them in a moment. As for the blue sky, when they saw them escape, they laughed charmingly and said, "Don't go, come and play together." Crazy. At this moment, even Suyu couldn't help but curse inwardly. Crazy. Not only was he crazy, Blue Sky's subordinates were also crazy. More than 1,000 followers were extremely crazy. Like moths flying into fire, they launched suicide attacks at the sun and moon. Blood splattered everywhere, and the followers who had been killed shouted before they died, "Where the sacred religion is, there is peace." This kind of fearless death was even more terrifying than the people of the Dragon Martial Guards. Some of the sun and moon of the 10,000 races were even scared. However, the arrival of the blue sky lightened the pressure on the human race. More and more people were dying. As for Suyu, he gradually became unscrupulous. In the beginning, he saved some of the humans and found some reasons. However, at this moment, when he arrived at a certain place, many people would retreat and didn't dare to fight with him. Zhu Li and the others all left Suyu. Suyu said coldly, "What are you looking at? Just because the black armor betrayed me doesn't mean that I'm a traitor. If you want to question, you should question the head of the Black Division. I don't know the identity of the black armor." At this moment, the elders of the Heaven Hunting Pavilion were also somewhat hesitant. What was this? This time, the Heaven Hunting Pavilion was extremely powerful. However, the 8th elder had been killed, and the black armor was actually from the southern borderless. This caused them to be somewhat hesitant and extremely hesitant. At this moment, the ruins gradually appeared. The appearance of the blue sky reduced the threat of the human race greatly. However, the pressure was still immense. At this moment, Zhu Tiandao was still fighting with someone. He looked around helplessly. Damn, it was so troublesome. That fellow could really endure it. The heavenly battlefield had yet to be activated. What the Great Qin King meant was that at least 3 undefeatable realm experts would appear before it would be activated. The Great Qin King was too stubborn. What was wrong with making a move now? But now, where could an expert appear and force the other party to make a 3rd undefeatable realm expert appear? 10,000 heavenly saints. Zhu Tiandao cursed silently. Are you hiding as much as I am? I feel that I am the one who has the final trump card. Yet, you are still not making a move. Are you thinking that you are hiding more than I am? Are you asking me to expose myself first and you are the one who has the final trump card? Zhu Tiandao wasn't convinced. I think that I am stronger than you, the 10,000 heavenly saints. You haven't shown up yet. Do you mean that I am not as good as you? Bullsh *T. Zhu Tiandao was very angry. In his anger, he saw that the quasi-invincible was still beating him. He said angrily, "You still want to fight? Do you want to die?" Ha ha ha. The quasi-invincible of the Dark Clan was the one holding back Zhu Tiandao. At this moment, he laughed loudly. Am I courting death? You, Zhu Tiandao, think about when you want to die. Zhu Tiandao gnashed his teeth in hatred. He felt that he could endure it. However, there was still an old turtle who could endure it better than him. He had yet to appear until now. Primitive, blue sky, black armor, xia xiao air, these people had all been exposed and revealed their strength. The power of the Xia family was terrifyingly powerful. In the end, that fellow still didn't come out. Fine, if you don't come out, then I'll come out. The third invincible, right? I'll lead the way. At this moment, Zhu Tiandao snorted coldly. Suddenly, from the distant Great Ming Manor, a tall tower broke through the void and appeared in front of everyone. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2181. 2181 Chapter 478 A mountain is even taller than a mountain. 400 Dao Pavilion. Zhu Tiandao instantly merged into the 100 Dao Pavilion. In the next moment, with a casual tearing sound, a long river appeared, as thin as urine. Alright, it could be considered thick. The moment the long river appeared, the opponent would definitely be shocked. Just as he was about to escape, his past body was suddenly stripped from his body and instantly appeared in Zhu Tiandao's hand. With a creak, he was crushed into pieces by Zhu Tiandao. Boom! A loud sound rang out as Zhu Tiandao smashed down heavily with the 100 Dao Pavilion in his hand. The Abyss Race's quasi-invincible roared and wanted to escape. However, how could he make it in time? Boom! A loud sound rang out. A firework rose up and a broken sun shattered. In the dazzling eyes of the crowd, a quasi-invincible was killed on the spot. This was the sixth quasi-invincible that had fallen today. There was a moment of silence in all directions. In the next moment, those quasi-invincible were about to go crazy. Damn it, no, Zhu Tiandao, you. At the same time, the quasi-invincible that was fighting with Qin Hao instantly fled. At this moment, this quasi-invincible from the Diamond Lion clan was extremely terrified. Among the 3 second brothers, Xia Xiaoer entered the quasi-invincible and killed the 3 incarnations of the quasi-invincible of the celestial race. He was killed by Niu Bendao who picked up the scraps. In the next moment, Zhu Tiandao, who had always been weak, instantly killed a quasi-invincible of the Netherworld race. What about the third junior? Qin Hao, who was about to be killed, was also stunned. Stop hitting me. He looked at Zhu Tiandao and was also at a loss. When he looked at Lord Xiaoho, he was even more at a loss. 3 juniors. I'm at the 8th level of the true Sun Moon. Originally, Lord Xiaoho was at the 8th level of the Sun Moon and Zhu Tiandao had just entered the 9th level of the Sun Moon. But now, Lord Xiaoho had erupted with quasi-invincible strength, killing a quasi-invincible 3-generation body. Zhu Tiandao was even more ferocious, instantly killing a quasi-invincible body. Of the 17 quasi-invincible bodies, 6 had been killed in one go. The rest were all afraid at this moment, afraid. What kind of joke was this? They had agreed that they would only join forces when the human race didn't have a single quasi-invincible body. But now, Gu Shan and the others from the 5 Elements clan and the Immemorial Giant clan were extremely regretful. What the F***ck? Zhu Tiandao, Lan Tian, Yuan Shi, Lord Xiaoho, Lu Wenyan, Niu Bendao, all of them were in a complete mess. Even though there were only 6 quasi-invincible experts, at this moment, they seemed to be suppressing them. Yuan Shi was fighting 1 against 3, and Lan Tian was suppressing the Dragon Clan. If they continued fighting, they would be beaten to death. Lord Xiaoho and the others were also incomparably fierce. Now, Zhu Tiandao had killed a quasi-invincible expert and directly shouted, "Primitive! Yun Chen, stall these 3. I'll kill them." The 3 of them were shocked. Primitive was strong enough, but this Zhu Tiandao seemed to be even stronger. If the 2 of them really joined hands, the 3 of them would have the possibility of dying. At this moment, That quasi-invincible immortal roared, "Immortal King, please descend." Sigh. With a sigh, an immortal-like powerhouse appeared. He looked at Zhu Tiandao and said softly, "The human race is indeed blessed by the heavens. Zhu Tiandao, you really exceeded my expectations. Are you about to attain Dao?" At this moment, Zhu Tiandao was extremely powerful. The 100-Path Pavilion had hosted the first 3 incarnations, and in the River of Time, it seemed like a second one was about to emerge. Su Yu was stunned. This was Zhu Tiandao. What a joke. He easily killed a quasi-invincible expert. Are you kidding me? You're so strong, yet you were beaten so miserably by others before. Zhu Tiandao looked at the Immortal King and said indifferently, "Are the Immortals going to participate in the battle? The Human Immortal Alliance has been completely destroyed, right? I only represent that I." The Immortal King said softly, "Zhu Tiandao, you hit it too deeply, it's beyond my expectations." On the other side, Niu Baidao laughed out loud, "Hit it too deeply? Really? Why did I see it long ago? Manor Head, you finally stopped hiding. In the future, don't talk about your big brother anymore. It's not good to praise yourself every day, right?" Everyone was stunned. The Immortal King was also slightly stunned. He looked at Zhu Tiandao, and a divine light flashed in his eyes. He muttered, "What a great Ming King, he only has you, his only son, right?" Zhu Tiandao laughed, "How can that be? I have a big brother who is more powerful than me. My big brother is already undefeatable in the Tao. Old fellow, I was planning to kill the traitors of the human race, but you insist on getting involved. Let's play together. I'm more than happy to." The Immortal King laughed as well. The two of them instantly disappeared from where they were. Just like Xian Jia and the others, they seemed to have entered another dimension. The two of them instantly exchanged blows in the air. Zhu Tiandao's combat strength was unrivaled, and the 100 Dao Pavilion turned into a weapon. He wanted to forcefully suppress that invincible Immortal King. Terrifying. At this moment, the experts of the myriad races were all extremely shocked. Holy shit! Were these humans all crazy? Why were they all hiding? They had all reached this stage and were actually hiding. If it wasn't for today, these people would still be hiding. Zhu Tiandao was actually invincible. Even if he was only invincible for 3 lifetimes, it was still an inconceivable achievement. Of course, it wasn't necessarily true that the mystic armor was stronger. After all, from the looks of it, the mystic armor was suppressed while Zhu Tiandao seemed to be suppressing the Immortal King instead. At this moment, as Lan Tian, Zhu Tiandao, and the mystic armor all made their moves, the strength of the human race was terrifying, causing everyone to be shocked. In the main hall, that figure was also extremely shocked. Zhu Tiandao. What a close call. Luckily, there were many experts from the 10,000 races this time, and even the Immortal King made his move. Just as he was rejoicing, he frowned slightly. Was it about to begin? At the same time, the heavenly battlefield. The great Qin King also received the news very quickly and was a little speechless. He looked at everyone and sighed, the Daming Manor. The Daming King. This fellow. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2182. 2182 Chapter 478, A Mountain is Taller Than a Mountain 5. Zhu Tiandao was about to attain the Tao. Spread out and prepare to attain the Tao. Everyone, 3 eternal realm cultivators have appeared in the human realm. Quickly attain the Tao. Yes. The group of people quickly spread out and flew in all directions. At the same time, in the distance, waves of auras rose up. An expert said coldly, "It's not so easy for humans to attain the Tao. The great Qin king coldly harumphed and looked at Xia Longwu behind him. Where are you going to attain Tao? Xia Longwu calmly said, go further away so as not to affect the others. Let's go to the Sea of Stars. The great Qin king lightly nodded and tore through the void. A group of people quickly rushed towards the Sea of Stars. Behind them, from all directions, countless invincible races gathered and stared at them. Xia Longwu wanted to attain the Tao, so no one would give him this opportunity. However, this time, there were indeed fewer invincible figures than expected. Actually, the main reason was not the Xia family this time. The main reason was Su Yu's side. The previous 2 times of chaos had caused more than 10 invincible figures to have their 3 lifetimes destroyed. However, it did not matter. There were many invincible figures of the 10,000 races. Originally, they had planned to snipe some of the experts of the small clans to attain the Tao, but now, the 10,000 races had given up. It would be fine even if the smaller clans were invincible. The human race was the key. This time, the human race had used everything they had. A group of quasi-invincible experts had come to attain the Tao. Hundreds of years of accumulation had all been accumulated today. After destroying these people and those from the great Xia mansion, the human race would not be able to raise their heads for hundreds of years. The human race was preparing to attain the Tao. Meanwhile, in the great Xia mansion, on the southern Yuan side, 3 undefeatable figures appeared. The remaining 11 quasi-undefeatable figures heaved a sigh of relief. They were also extremely fearful and crazy races. This race was too terrifying. Not only were they strong, but they were also sinister. It was fine if one was hiding, but 2, 3, 4. Almost everyone was hiding. How sinister was it to hide so many people? At this moment, along with a coquettish laugh, the quasi-undefeatable figure from the dragon race was incomparably terrified. He roared, please descend, Dragon King. The void tore apart, and a huge white dragon appeared. The Dragon King didn't say much. He whipped his tail towards the blue sky, and with a rumble, countless blue skies exploded. This time, everyone wasn't too surprised. They knew that several powerful races had sent their unrivaled realm experts. The gods, demons, and immortals had all come out, and the dragon race had obviously come as well. It was just that they didn't expect that the quasi-invincible of the dragon race was completely suppressed by blue sky, and he was almost killed. Otherwise, this person might have wanted to wait a little longer. He would have waited until the ruins completely appeared before attacking and taking them away. The appearance of the Dragon King instantly suppressed blue sky. He looked around and said coldly, does the human race still have a backup plan? It is beyond our expectations. However, it has come to an end. Since they have already appeared, then don't even think about living anymore. This time, it was fortunate that so many invincible 3 incarnations had appeared. The Dragon King was rejoicing. Just as the Dragon King finished speaking, the void trembled and a golden-masked expert appeared. He looked around and said indifferently, let's meet up at the heaven hunting pavilion. On the other side, the 3rd elder was overjoyed. The minister of the Huang department finally came. He hurriedly complained, Sir, 8th brother was killed, and the black armor is actually from the southern borderless. The minister of the Xian department might have a problem, sir. The members of the heaven hunting pavilion quickly gathered toward the minister, all very happy. We can be considered to have a backer. Before, we thought that we were invincible, and that we were the strongest. But now, everyone was afraid. There were so many human experts that they were terrified and afraid. Even those at the later stage of the Sun and Moon realm, including the 3rd elder, were afraid. They were afraid that another invincible expert would appear in the human race. On the heaven hunting pavilion side, dozens of Sun and Moon experts quickly retreated from the battlefield. The minister of the Huang department said coldly, the heaven hunting pavilion has remained neutral. They are only here for the one tombstone. The human race doesn't need to be hostile towards us. Let's retreat from the battlefield. The third elder and the others didn't care anymore. They should leave. If they didn't leave now, they were afraid that they would die. It was too terrifying. Suyu also hesitated and headed over. At this moment, the minister of the Huang department suddenly looked at Suyu and said coldly, "Xianzhou, you don't have to come." Are you really Xianzhou? As soon as he said this, the third elder rushed over and said hurriedly, "Minister, he might not be Xianzhou. He might be a human powerhouse." He didn't say it was Suyu, but Xianzhou might also be a human. Even if he had seen Xianzhou's true appearance, he wasn't sure now. There might be a problem with the Xian department. Minister Huang nodded slightly. The minister of the Xian department should already know about the masked man killing the people in the pavilion. He hasn't received any reply yet. The pavilion might be investigating his identity. Something is going to happen in the pavilion. We can't waste any more strength. You're right, my lord. These people put down their opponents and flew toward the minister of the Yellow Division. With a backer, they had some confidence. Zhu Li and the others were scared. How terrifying. Dozens of suns and moons retreated and fought. The pressure on the human side was greatly reduced. The Dragon King frowned slightly, looked at the minister of the Yellow Division, and said, "You want to retreat?" The minister of the Yellow Division said lightly, "If I don't retreat, will you give me the tombstone?" "No." The Dragon King smiled. "Of course not." It was good that the Heaven Hunting Pavilion had retreated, so he had lost his biggest opponent. The minister of the Huang department was not weak. Soon, dozens of suns and moons returned behind the minister of the Huang department. They were both scared and glad. This time, it was much more dangerous than they had imagined. How terrifying. The third elder approached the minister of the Huang department and said with lingering fear, "Minister, we have suffered heavy losses. Now, are we returning? What carrier doesn't have a carrier? Forget it. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories." Chapter 2183. 2183 Chapter 478 A mountain is higher than a mountain 6. This damned place was getting more and more mysterious. The minister of the Yellow Division nodded slightly, "Retreat, enter my flying pavilion. Be careful when you leave through the passageway." After saying this, a huge pavilion appeared. The minister of the Yellow Division was going to lead them to retreat. The third elder and the others flew towards the pavilion. They didn't know where the passageway was and how to get out. It was obviously impossible to use the heavenly residence's passageway, so they could only rely on the minister of the Yellow Division to lead them out. This pavilion was also a heavenly weapon. Minister Huang and the others entered and looked around. He said indifferently, "The Heaven Hunting Pavilion has no intention of interfering with the matters of the human realm. We will be evacuating the human realm today. Xianzhou, you wait for the investigation. Someone will come to fetch you after this." Suyu could not help but follow him. Minister Huang was a little mysterious. Just as he was thinking, Minister Huang shrunk the pavilion and grabbed it in his hand. He turned around and was about to fly away. At the next moment, he suddenly threw the pavilion toward the Dragon King. At this moment, the expressions of the dozens of suns and moons in the pavilion changed. They felt as if the power of heaven and earth had ignited all the Yuan Qi in their bodies. The third elder was extremely terrified. Head of department. What happened? Boom. This loud sound was too loud. It resounded throughout the human realm and the heavens. Like a meteor shower, countless suns and moons crashed down. A powerful force swept out in all directions, and the three incarnations of the Dragon King were instantly blown to pieces. Even the quasi-invincible dragon behind him was instantly blown to death. One quasi-invincible, 10 elders, 2 members of the 7th level of the universal religion, and dozens of suns and moons exploded at the same time. One could imagine how powerful this explosion was. The head of Department Huang restrained himself and only exploded in one area. Otherwise, the entire southern Yuan would have been gone, and even the great Xia mansion would have been affected. Boom! 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 The Dragon King, who had been blown to pieces, roared. In an instant, another Dragon King appeared and said mournfully, You killed my past body. Bastard, who are you? Before he could finish his sentence, he had already been pulled into another void by Division Leader Huang. It was quiet, and he had disappeared. Everyone in the area felt their hearts turn cold. The hearts of all the races were cold. Escape. Of the hundreds of sun and moon cultivators, the heaven hunting pavilion was the most powerful. However, at this moment, the heaven hunting pavilion was gone. One quasi-invincible cultivator, more than 10 7th-level sun and moon cultivators, and dozens of mid- and low-level sun and moon cultivators were all dead. Division Leader Huang had caught them in a jar and stuffed them all into a heavenly weapon. All of a sudden, they were all killed. At this moment, in the endless void, the main hall of the heaven hunting pavilion headquarters shook. Someone said with a smile, the 4 divisions are crippled. More than half of the elites of the 4 divisions were killed or injured. The minister of the yellow division. Won't the black division give an explanation? Someone sighed, what explanation? I don't know anything about the black armor, and the matter of the yellow division has nothing to do with me. What should I give an explanation? The head of the black division sighed. The entire heaven hunting pavilion fell into silence. It was extremely quiet. Crippled. At least the 4 divisions were crippled this time. The head of the yellow division had defected. There was something wrong with the head of the black division, but he couldn't be sure. The head of the sky division was in a deep sleep, and the earth division was the only one that wasn't affected. But, how many people in the heaven hunting pavilion still had problems? The minister of the yellow division was too ruthless. So ruthless that it made people's hearts palpitate. Dozens of suns and moons were stuffed into the heavenly soldiers, and they directly exploded the heavenly soldiers, killing a quasi-invincible Dragon King and the 3 incarnations of an invincible Dragon King. Too ruthless.